Welcome, everybody, once again to another fun at-home table read. Tonight, we are tackling the unmade Batman versus Superman Asylum. We're just going to jump right in with seeing who our cast is tonight. On action, we've got Angi. She's hanging out right there. As Batman, the Dark Knight himself, we've got Johnny. And as the Man of Steel, Hunter. Right down there. Perfect. Oh, he's ready to go. He's all set. As, well, of course, Alfred Pennyworth, we've got Ben. Right up there. Perfect. As Jonathan Kent, along with a few others, we've got George. As Elizabeth and Lana Lang, we've got Anne. As the villainous Lex Luthor, we've got Curtis. As Perry White, editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet, we've got Erik, and he'll be joining us in a little bit. But as the villainous Toyman, who will be appearing, that'll be Jeremy Weinreich showing up in just a bit. All right, well, Angi, take us away.
Asylum, written by Andrew Kevin Walker and Akiva Goldsman. Exterior metropolis, establishing montage, morning. By morning's light in a postcard-perfect autumn, we look upon the wondrous, bustling metropolis skyline. Traffic streams across Metropolis Bridge, a magnificent suspension bridge spanning the river at Mid-City. Sidewalks around City Hall are crowded with pedestrians. Exterior metropolis, Freedom Promenade, morning. Surrounding streets are tight with traffic. At the edge of the city's grassy Central Park, the stunning Freedom Monument glints against the sky. The monument stands 700 feet tall, plated in riveted silver, glass-domed top reflecting the sun. The path leading from the circular reflecting pool is lined by flags of many nations. People stroll across the promenade, view the gardens, joggers jog. It's relatively quiet, till the roar of an engine sends foraging pigeons skyward in a panicked flock. A heavy-duty delivery truck has jumped the sidewalk, raging across the mall, smashing a park bench to smithereens. The truck is devoid of identifying markings, towing a trailer that carried a black, all-terrain SUV facing backwards. It picks up speed as it heads for the dome. A ski-masked terrorist leaps down from behind the wheel. He's in a black suit and a black bulletproof vest carrying automatic handguns. He opens fire as two security guards arrive from inside the monument. They fall back for cover as bullets ricochet. The terrorist ducks from behind the rear of the truck as the first guard leans out, returning fire. Across Metropolis, morning, we zoom in to glimpse the Daily Planet building where the giant Daily Planet holographic globe slowly revolves atop. Interior Daily Planet, newsroom, morning. Reporters and editors bury between long rows of desks. The place is alive with voices and clattering keyboards, but we move quickly through to arrive at the only desk where the crisp snap of keys at the last manual typewriter is heard, where a broad-shouldered man with jet black hair types with his back to us, and where, as this man stops typing and cocks his head, we move in to an extreme close-up of his ear. All goes silent, and the only sound is the faint sound of gunfire. Sound up, the man stands. Meet Clark Kent, handsome, bespectacled, iron-jawed, neat as a pin. He's worried, still listening to something only he can hear.
Hey, Clark, when's Lois getting back from assignment? Let me start that again. Hey, Clark, when's Lois back from assignment? Hello? Clark?
Clark looks up, startled. Reflexively, he rubs his gold wedding band with his thumb.
Few of the guys are going to this O'Malley's tonight.
Tom pantomimes drinking shot.
When the cat's away, you know?
Clark smiles, everything but his eyes.
Sorry, excuse me, Tom.
Clark rises, crossing quickly. Tom stares after him, stiffened.
Dickhead.
In the hallway, Clark hurries up the main bank of elevators, turns a corner going to a supply closet, glancing back as, in the closet, Clark enters, loosening his tie. He stops in his tracks. Two clerks are making out. They look up.
Sorry.
Back on the promenade, intercut. The terrorist fires as he runs from behind the truck, kicks a latch on the trailer. The SUV is disengaged, rolling as the terrorist quickly climbs in, starting the engine peeling out. The guards move from around the corner of the monument. They can only watch as the SUV escapes back across the mall.
Christ. Go! Call it in!
Second guard runs to obey. First guard moves to the truck, climbing up. In the truck's cabin, first guard gropes desperately around the steering column, finds the keys missing. At the Daily Planet, down another hallway, intercut. Clark runs, pocketing his glasses, looking around as he comes to the doors of the service elevator. In the elevator shaft, light floods in as Clark pulls the doors apart. He leaps feet first. We follow as Clark falls fast. He tears open his shirt, revealing his costume. Exterior Metropolis, skyline, high angle, intercut. The city sparkles below. A tiny dot is shooting toward us at impossible speed, growing as it approaches to reveal. Superman whips to a stop in midair, looking towards the monument in the distance, rockets towards the plaza. On the promenade, intercut. At the rear of the delivery truck, first guard aims his gun, blasts the padlock off the rear door. Across the promenade, the terrorist's SUV sends pedestrians fleeing as it vaults the sidewalk heading to the street. Back at the monument, first guard throws the truck's rear door open. The cargo area is filled to capacity with greasy industrial metal drums stacked too high.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Close on, a detonator with a digital timer wires to one drum, ticking down. 15, 14, 13. Follow Superman, arms extended as the ground whips below us in a dizzying blur, the monument ahead in the distance. Close up on the detonator as the timer clicks. 4, 3, 2. High angle from atop the monument. For one breathless moment, we're impossibly high. The truck is a tiny at the base of the monument, while first guard is barely visible speck until the horrible explosion. Superman flying over shoulder. The massive fireball engulfs the base of the monument ahead, the shockwave rumbling deafeningly past us. The fireball goes black. The monument seems to shift, almost imperceptibly, begins to tilt slowly sideways. Across the promenade, on the bordering street, the terrorist SUV swerves through traffic, picking up speed. Inside the SUV, rearview mirror, close. The SUV swerves, careening across the street, braking as tow truck swerves in its path. The SUV collides into the tow truck, glass flying. An angry mechanic and 2 workmen climb from the tow truck, moving to the SUV. The terrorist is slumped, barely moving. Above the promenade, the monument's toppling, tipping toward the smoldering black crater left by the explosions. Falling toward the horrified crowd on the promenade, folks run, no hope of getting clear. One woman stops, staring back up towards the falling shadow. Her eyes widen in awe.
Superman.
Exterior Freedom Monument, blast site, morning. Superman whips around the falling structure, coming between its surface and the fleeing crowd, sweeps up. Dwarfed by the massive obelisk, he flies up, pressing against it with both hands. The massive glass-domed roof is shattering. Still pressing against the monument's colossal weight, Superman looks over his shoulder to see, beneath falling plates of glass, a mother runs with her young son in her arms, certain to be killed, except Superman's eyes glare blinding, red-hot, flash blasting the massive glass plates to nothingness. The mother and son are saved, fleeing with the others. Still, the monument is certain to crush many citizens. Superman faces front, pushing against the still falling monument, his knotted muscles quaking, straining at the beyond Herculean task, somehow slowing the fall until, incredibly, Superman halts the monument. Now he flies against the crushing force, beginning to right the monument, his cape flowing, the entire structure rumbling horribly, metal screaming. Slowly but surely, the monument is returning vertical. Superman releases the structure and flies down to the blackened hole to the monument, where he grips 2 giant twisted ends of broken steel girder in the exposed steel skeleton, mighteningly bending them back together. His eyes glow bright red as he focuses his heat vision, melting the pieces of steel till they're once again whole. Within the billowing plume of smoke, the shining monument is saved, terribly wounded, but standing proudly on its own. Exterior Metropolis Street, nearby, morning. As the riotous aftermath of the SUV crash site, a loud, angry mob is formed. The raging mechanic grabs a dazed terrorist, throws him out into the street. The terrorist's ski mask is torn off, his buzz cut, ruddy-faced and bloodied. The mechanic punches and kicks the terrorist, cheered on by many others. The terrorist struggles to shield himself. More people run to the mayhem from in between the cars.
We got him! Over here!
A teen kicks the terrorist in the head.
He's the bomber. That's him.
The mechanic pulls a length of lead pipe from the back of his truck, brandishing it furious. Others shout encouragement. The mechanic raises the heavy pipe, ready to swing.
Stop!
The pipe suddenly burns red hot in the businessman's hands. He drops it, recoiling. The crowd turns as one, looking. Superman descends, his eyes glowing red. His eyes dim as he holds his arms out, slowing to hover above the parting crowd, his cape flowing.
Now.
He killed them!
Murderer! Murderer!
Superman lands on the edge of the crowd. Stand back. But a mob is not so easily stilled.
Listen to me. I said.
See him, his eyes still sparkling with red after flares, a powerful body rearing, voice impossibly strong, utterly inhuman.
Stand back.
And the crowd freezes. One thing we forget about Superman, he can be terrifying. Superman walks into the shifting crowd.
You have a right to your anger, but nothing more.
What are you doing?
Why are you protecting him? The crowd parts even further as Superman comes to stand before the mechanic and the two men gripping the terrorist.
And what if you kill him? What then? Are you your wife's husband? Your mother's son? Your children's father? No, not anymore.
Superman holds his hand out toward the terrorist.
Justice will be done. You have my word.
A beat. The mechanic hangs his head. He steps aside. Exterior over Metropolis morning. Superman flies over the city, the river below. He carries the beaten, unconscious terrorist in his arms. As Superman turns, looking down, the terrorist's eyes suddenly pop open. He's wide awake. His voice is low, quick, and threatening.
You're a lifesaver, Superman. But what's the expression? Ashes to ashes?
Superman barely has time to register his surprise when
Dust to dust?
the terrorist raises his arm, his wristwatch flipping open, a compartment revealed as the terrorist blows. A blast of green, glowing kryptonite dust flies out from the compartment into Superman's face. Superman cries out, recoiling in shock and pain, dropping the terrorist from his grasp, as the terrorist falls away toward the river, smiling.
See ya.
Superman flies backwards, faltering, clutching his face, twisting, flying blind as his abilities abandon him. Superman tumbles downwards, dropping like dead weight towards the water, crashing into the river with a tremendous splash. Underwater, Superman plunges downwards, descending in an incredible explosion of bubbles, sinking deeper out of frame. Exterior, the river's surface, minutes later. Still, no signs of life. After a long, aching moment, Superman bursts to the surface, flying, gasping for air. He hovers, his powers restored, catching his breath through clenched teeth, searches the river's undulating expanse. There's no sign of anything until he sees, below, the terrorist's face bobs up and down in the water. Superman flies to where the grinning visage floats, reaching out, grabbing onto the terrorist's face. A synthetic mask like discarded skin, empty eye holes staring hollowly. Superman's ill at ease as he turns the mask to find, inside are the words hand-scrawled in freakish red letters. This is the beginning. Superman rises, scanning in all directions, grim. No sign of the terrorists anywhere in the surrounding waters. Exterior Wayne Manor day. Indian summer sun lights the imposing, stately Wayne Manor. A perfect day at this Gothic palace for new beginnings.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the sight of God and in the face of this company.
Exterior Wayne Manor Gardens day. Oaks of turning reds and oranges, European-style gardens which today host more than 300 guests. Many of Gotham's elite politicians, business persons, and socialites are here.
To join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony.
On the flower-adorned altar, a minister stands between dashing Bruce Wayne and his stunning bride, Elizabeth.
Now I understand you have both chosen special rings?
Elizabeth opens her hand, revealing a perfect gold band, edged by platinum, glinting in the bright sun. Drift left to find the best man, Clark Kent, dapper in a tuxedo as his hands fumble first into one pocket, then the next. A beat. Then Clark grins, winks, and hands an antique diamond ring to Bruce, who is shaking his head, grinning back.
Boys.
Folks laugh brightly as the minister resumes.
Repeat after me. With this ring, I thee wed.
Elizabeth slides the ring onto Bruce's finger.
With this ring, I thee wed.
Exterior wedding reception, afternoon. A tent that could house a circus filled with milling guests. Bruce talks to a raven-haired beauty. This is Barbara Gordon. What can I say, Bruce? I never thought I'd see the day.
Glad I can still surprise you.
Shock is, I think, the word you're looking for. Pleasant, but shock. Barbara smiles now, only a hint of the bittersweet. My dad, he would have loved this. Bruce smiles warmly at her, holds her eyes. History here.
Barbara, I hope you know.
Commissioner Gordon.
Bruce and Barbara both turn to face Elizabeth, wearing a grin and 2 bare feet. Holds up her wedding shoes.
So not made for dancing.
Barbara, please. Barbara takes Elizabeth's hand, her tone heartfelt. It was extraordinarily gracious of you to include me, Elizabeth. Elizabeth's smile equally warm, sincere.
You mean so much to Bruce, which means you mean no less to me. Thank you for coming.
Barbara opens her mouth to speak, closes it again, then leans in, kisses Elizabeth's cheek. Congratulations.
I think this happened in a dream once, but your outfits were different.
Both shoot him a look.
Your Aunt Harriet has decided to tin bar. I think she's matching the guest shot for shot. Lit like a lantern, old girl.
I thought she was...
Apparently this was step 13.
Oh boy, I better, last time she had Alfred, she got Alfred in the closet, in the service closet.
I'll take care of her. I just wanted you to know that's where I am when you can't find me. It's not that I've run off with that handsome busboy, no matter what the other guests say.
Turns to Barbara.
I hope we will see more of you than we have, Barbara.
They watch Elizabeth leave, pulling on her shoes as she goes, hopping toward a raucous older woman tending bar.
Harriet! Espresso time!
Could she be any more perfect? Bruce stares after Elizabeth, totally besotted.
No.
Bruce glances up. One of the higher balconies, a single tuxedo-clad figure stands alone, staring at the horizon.
Would you give me a minute?
Exterior Wayne Manor, upper balcony, moments later. Clark stares at the sun-stained horizon line.
$1 million for your thoughts?
Bruce appears behind Clark.
Careful. I might hold you to it.
Clark turns to face Bruce, open bottle of Dom in his hand. Clark pulls him close, hugs him.
Congratulations, my friend.
Bruce sits on the ledge facing Clark, passes the bottle.
You okay?
Couldn't be better.
All these years, I thought you'd be better at lying.
Clark shrugs, smiles sheepishly.
Not my strong suit.
Any word from her?
Bruce, this is your day.
Bruce stills him with a sharp finger in the air. A beat.
We're getting a divorce.
Bruce just closes his eyes. Clark almost manages a wry smile.
It's the job, you know? Truth, justice, and the American way. Doesn't leave a lot of time.
God, Clark, I'm so sorry.
Clark takes a swig, stares out at the city, lost in thought.
What's it been? 5 years now since Batman's been gone?
Clark passes the bottle back to Bruce.
Do you ever miss it?
Now it's Bruce's turn to drink.
Some nights I wake up to the sound of sirens and my heart starts pounding. Sure, then I remember.
He trails off, looking down again at the party beyond.
After Dick was murdered, it stopped being about justice. It started being about revenge. There's Here's the thing about blood. You develop a taste for it, then a thirst. Then I was just putting them in the hospital, and it wasn't enough. I tried to kill them. Each one in that endless parade of freaks. And if I started killing, I wouldn't stop.
Bruce stares off into space.
You wouldn't understand. It's a weakness. We have a human thing.
The words have an unseen, wounding effect on Clark.
It's time for me to live in the light again.
Do you tell her?
Nothing to tell. Batman's dead.
You guys are smoking something up here.
They look down to see Elizabeth standing on the dusky lawn.
You better have saved some for me.
Him? Are you kidding?
You can't fool me, Clark Kent. You're not that straight.
She has no idea.
You have no idea.
Well, it's my wedding and I'm going to dance. Who's going to join me?
She's off, running towards the tent. Clark grabs the bottle for them to go. Bruce puts his hand on his shoulder.
You know, at the monument. What happened?
Kryptonite. The mask. The note. It was a setup. As if he knew I'd save him.
This guy's not finished. I can feel it. You be careful, okay?
Clark nods at his friend, then glances toward the tent.
Come on.
Clark smiles, impish light in his eyes.
Race you.
Clark is a blur, then gone. Bruce can't help but laugh as he starts after his friend. Interior wedding tent, dusk. The orchestra plays as Bruce and Elizabeth dance, gazing into each other's eyes, lost in a world of their own. In a corner, Clark stands in candle's shadow, watching wistfully, smiles. He kisses a sleeping Aunt Harriet, grabs his coat, and turns to go. Exterior Wayne Manor, dusk. Bruce loads luggage into the rolls as Elizabeth turns to face him from the front steps, closing her cell phone.
Can I tell you how much my office hates the idea of a top secret honeymoon?
Bruce smiles, opens the car door for her. Elizabeth climbs in, takes a last look at the mansion.
When we get back, we are so getting a new decorator.
She slams the car door. Exterior road, twilight. The rolls trailing tin cans and boasting a just married banner speeds away from us across the tree-lined grounds, heading literally into the sunset. Exterior metropolis, night. Clark emerges from a taxi, looks up toward the towering skyscraper's window-lit face, steels himself, heads inside. Interior metropolis apartment building, lobby, night. The doorman steps around the front desk as Clark enters, nervous, something amiss.
Hey, Mr. K, how you doing?
Good evening, Ernie. They come?
I'm and gone. Her sister was with him. Made a lot of trips, though.
Ernie looks even more uncomfortable. Clark just nods.
Women always keep a lot of stuff, I guess. I mean...
Ernie trails off, just making it worse.
It's all right, Ernie.
You want me to get you some Chinese brought up or something, Mr. K?
Clark just smiles, shakes his head. Ernie watches him walk to the elevators, Clark's words as much aloud to himself.
Everything's going to be fine.
Interior Clark Kent's apartment, night. Dark. The door opens as Clark enters and turns on the light. Hold on his face as he stares a beat, then closes his eyes. Reverse angle, the spacious apartment is literally half empty. We can't tell exactly what's missing, but Clark can as he enters frame, passing open cabinets and closet doors. See him as he touches empty shelves or crosses to a counter now only sparsely populated with framed pictures. Clark opens the refrigerator, pulls out a bottle of vodka, reconsiders, grabs the milk instead, pours a glass. He moves his hands out of frame, something metal hitting the counter. He looks after it, his face a mask of pain. Clark exits, revealing what he has discarded. His wedding band lolls, abandoned on the marble surface, finally still. Exterior beach, sunset. Bruce stands on the edge of the surf, snorkels and mask in hand. Elizabeth finishes chatting to a waiter and heads away.
Apparently, Bruce Wayne is terribly famous. Good thing you're not him.
Wait.
Can I sell your autograph on eBay?
He tosses her a mask and snorkel, and they wade into the surf. Sun breaks the clouds, lighting the sea. A perfect moment.
Well, this sucks.
Yeah. Awful.
He kisses her. They dive into the water. Interior honeymoon bungalow, Kona, night. In the bedroom suite of the luxurious rooms, Bruce opens the doors of the balcony. Beyond, only pitch black and the sounds of the ocean.
Boo.
Elizabeth has come up from behind him in a summer dress, wraps her arms around his chest. He turns to embrace her, smiling.
What? Not scared of the dark?
No. Yes, it's a complicated question.
Something about his eyes.
You okay, babe?
His smile seems touched by sadness.
There it is again.
What?
That look. The one that comes over you when you're hiding. Whatever it is you're still hiding from me.
Bruce just stares.
Can I ask you something?
I think I waived my right to say no, us being married and all.
Your ward, Dick. How did he die?
You know all this. He was murdered.
Is that all? Is there something else? Something you're not saying?
Bruce stares at her. The beat lasts forever. Then,
Sometimes the shadows of the past hang a little too close to my life is all.
she holds his eyes. Then, amazingly, she smiles, a sudden impish light in her eyes.
What?
A beat, deciding how much to say. Then,
I've made you something for when everything seems at its worst, to show you just how much I love you.
she stills Bruce's question with a finger to his lips.
It's a surprise.
I like surprises. Are you wearing it now?
Elizabeth laughs wickedly.
Not for tonight. It has to be just the right time. Tonight, let's drink. What do you say?
Elizabeth crosses to a tray of champagne, carries it over to the bed.
And then let's kiss.
Well, I don't know.
She has begun pouring champagne, now flips her hair and throws him her best harlot stare.
Who am I kidding? I'm East.
Elizabeth laughs.
Don't go anywhere.
Bruce crosses to the next room. Elizabeth rises, turns down the lights, opens the doors out to the terrace. In the adjoining bathroom, Bruce splashes hot water on his face. For a long moment, he looks at himself in the mirror until the mirror fogs. He begins lathering his face with shaving cream.
What should we do tomorrow?
Anything we like.
More of what we'll do tonight, then what with chocolate.
From the bedroom, Elizabeth laughs. She has a lovely laugh. Bruce has begun shaving.
My mother warned me about men like you.
As I remember, your mother warned about me, specifically by name.
No reply. Silence.
Lizzie?
Bruce waits, turns the water off. Elizabeth has started laughing again, gently. Bruce smiles, continues shaving.
Wasn't that funny, sweetheart?
Elizabeth's laugh grows a bit louder.
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth's laugh goes on too long, too loud. Bruce freezes, his blood running cold, drops the razor, running. In the bedroom, Bruce enters. Elizabeth stands in the balcony, her back to us, laughing grotesquely, her body racking. Bruce runs to catch her as she collapses. As Elizabeth's laugh dies to a gurgle, her head lolls back, her face distorted by horrid rigor, eyes bulging, mouth twisted impossibly wide to a ghastly, Joker-esque smile of exposed teeth and gaunt gums.
My God.
Bruce falls to his knees, cradling Elizabeth's body.
Elizabeth,
He puts his mouth over hers, trying to give her breath.
breathe, Elizabeth, breathe.
But she is still. Bruce stares, unable to comprehend.
Please, no.
A small dart sticks out from Elizabeth's throat, painted bumblebee-like with yellow and black stripes. Bruce plucks it with trembling hands, his eyes filling with tears.
Elizabeth.
Something catches Bruce's eye and his breath halts in his throat as he stares up in utter horror. On the wall, red letters are scrawled, but we see them only in the mirror. Ding et fo. Ginget et si hit. Exterior dark skies, night. Follow Superman as he soars desperately through the night, tightly clenched fists thrust out, every muscle and facial features tense with determination. Interior honeymoon bungalow day. A blast of wind blows balcony doors open, curtains flowing. Superman enters, catching his breath. The empty room is now a yellow-taped crime scene. There's no one here. Superman looks down, swallowing back sadness. The outline of where Elizabeth fell is marked in white chalk. Then Superman looks to the wall. The words are scrawled in the same script as the message inside the terrorist mask. On the wall. This is the beginning of the end. Exterior Gotham City, establishing night. The Gothic skyline rises from the Gotham River haze, like a German expressionistic city of concrete, steel, and menace. Exterior Gotham streets, night, storm. Bruce's Rolls-Royce recklessly navigates Gotham's city rain-drenched byways, horn blaring, skidding around a corner, almost running down a boy and his parents leaving the movies. In the Rolls, Bruce drives, white-knuckling the wheel through the storm. He's disheveled, ruined, a man possessed. Exterior Wayne Manor grounds, night, storm. The Rolls races up the dark, slick, three-lane drive. Interior Wayne Manor, entryway, night, storm. Bruce throws the front doors wide, moving into interior library, night, storm. Towering walls of books, stained glass windows, illuminated by flash of lightning and distant rolls of thunder. Bruce crosses the dark room towards the bookcase set against the far wall, body drenched in rain and sweat.
Bruce.
Elizabeth stands in the shadows, face running with blood, illuminated by a sudden flash of lightning.
Elizabeth?
But when the lightning flashes again, we see it's not her, but...
She's gone, Bruce. You know that.
Bruce stands still a beat, gathering himself, shakes off the vision, breathing away the past.
What are you doing here?
I heard what happened. I am so sorry. I want to help.
Bruce just stares at him. Clark tries to find more words.
Whoever's attacking you, he's attacking both of us. We can...
She's dead, Clark. What do you exactly think it is we're going to do?
Clark looks at his old friend, not sure what to say.
You should go.
Bruce, I've known you too long not to know what you're thinking.
No. You can't imagine what I'm thinking. I'm going to find whoever fucking did this. And, when I do, I'm going to take his skin and hang it in front of his eyes before he dies. He'll know the pain that I'm feeling will be only but a distant whisper.
The way the lightning illuminates the rage in Bruce's face, even a Superman might seem afraid. Clark's voice is gentle.
Tommy's the horror. Letting justice turn into vengeance.
Bruce crosses to a table, pulls open a false pallet of books to reveal a metal plate padlocked to the wall.
You hung up your cowl so that wouldn't happen. Remember?
Bruce lifts a metal trophy from the desk, begins banging on the padlock with tremendous fury. Clark's words are almost pleading.
Kill and you become the dark you've spent your whole life fighting.
Bruce opens the metal plate, places his palm on a sensor beneath. Bookcase slides to reveal a portal to darkness.
You can't go back down there. You'll destroy everything you are, everything you've done, and all those deaths, your parents, Dick's, even Elizabeth's. be in vain.
Bruce spins, trophy in hand, eyes blazing.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare say her name. Why didn't you let the mob have him, Clark?
For a moment, the impossible depth of Bruce's sadness is visible, fathomless, a lifetime of such terrible loss.
If you hadn't interfered, she'd still be alive.
Please, Bruce. I couldn't know.
But then the anguish is gone, replaced by rage.
You and your rules. What do you know about human suffering? You're some space freak looking down on all of us, preaching your storybook wisdom. You don't have the right. And that's what Lois knew. You're not even one of us. How dare you decide who lives and who dies? Now, look what's happened. Now, look.
Might be the light in Clark's eyes, might be tears.
You've killed her.
Clark looks down at the floor, devastated.
Sorry, I never meant for...
If you're looking for forgiveness, you've come to the wrong place.
Clark looks up, his expression terribly sad.
I'll find who did this. But you can't murder him, old friend.
Clark takes off his glasses. His face is determined, the powerful eyes of a hero.
I won't let you.
How dare you?
Bruce swings with terrible rage, smashing the statue into Clark's face, heavy metal snapping off on his granite cheek.
You self-righteous son of a bitch.
Bruce, please.
Get the hell out of my house.
Listen to me.
Get out, now!
A long beat. Then Clark can only bow to shoulder his sadness, walking from the room and gone. Over, a flapping of wings. Bruce turns to face the doorway and the endless dark beyond. Over, the leathery whisper of wings again, soft as a lullaby. Eyes close, a man poised on the threshold of hell, deciding. Exterior Gotham Cemetery, day. Pouring rain. As the iron gates of the cemetery, policemen block the entrance. Reporters, photographers, and cameramen cinch their raincoats and clutch umbrellas, kept at bay. Inside the cemetery, amongst the hundreds of headstones and holy statuary, a carnival mirror of the wedding. Wind rips, mourners breathe beneath umbrellas, process, dropping white roses into an open grave. Bruce stands, umbrella-less and soaked, in a black coat and a suit, staring forward, eyes empty. There are 5 graves, 2 older headstones, Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne. 2 newer, Richard Grayson and Alfred Pennyworth. All are now joined by the foundation that reads, Never Forgotten. And then the newly hewn headstone, Elizabeth Miller Wayne, beloved wife. Across the cemetery, Clark watches from the grove of trees. He's drenched, wearing only a black suit. At the gravestones, Bruce's features are set in stone. If there are tears, they've lost in the windswept rain. Across the cemetery, Clark hides his face in his hands. He can bear no more, turning to walk away. Interior Daily Planet, Perry White's office, day. Sun breaks off his metropolis skyline. A graying man stares out the window, his back to us, puffing a cigar. Perry White.
Good story.
He turns to face Clark, taps the headline of today's edition on his desk. Terrorist mask disappears from police lockup.
Thanks. You didn't answer my question, Perry.
White puffs a rolling cloud of smoke, watches it drift.
I'm running out of reporters here, Kent. How long?
Not long. A few days. A week.
This over the thing with Lois?
Clark glances up, surprised. White just smiles sadly.
There are no secrets in the newsroom, son.
White crosses, puts his hand on Clark's shoulder.
Listen, I've been through this myself. Just take time is all. You're supposed to hurt. After all, you're only human.
Clark manages a smile.
1 week, and don't get lost.
Thanks. I'll do my best.
White watches Clark go, a beat. Hits the intercom.
All set!
Coming, Chief.
White's eyes widen as he starts to speak, then he covers his face and shakes his head in perpetual dismay. Exterior Wayne Manor, dusk. All the lights are dark, a house of the dead. Interior Wayne Manor, library, dusk. Bruce, close. Asleep, eyes moving fast underneath lids, he bolts awake, terrified of what we can never know. Wider, Bruce has been sleeping, sitting up in a corner on the floor. He still wears his funeral suit, dried on the bone. He rises into a dark room strewn with clothes and occasional signs of food and drink. In this great house, he lives only here. He crosses to the open bookcase portal and the blackness beyond, stands facing off the darkness. Not the first time. Over, the sounds of flapping of wings. A long beat. Bruce loosens his tie, steps into a terrible dark, and gone. Exterior over Metropolis, sunset. Superman flies into the distance, growing smaller and smaller until he's the merest distant speck, then gone. Interior access tunnel, Wayne Manor, night. Bruce walks forward in endless darkness. Stops.
Authorization code Wayne 1. Initiate reactivation sequence.
Voice print confirmed.
And that's when it happens. Pull back from Bruce as, one by one, the lights start coming on to reveal. Interior Batcave, long shot, night. Bruce stands on the very edge of a platform overlooking the immense 50-story cavern cut out of solid rock. 5 floors of open-air levels, steel platforms joined by crisscrossing iron stairways. Laboratories lined by supercomputers, and below shuttered workshop and training rooms. Below, weapons storage. Lower still, the command center. And at the center's floor, an empty circular vehicle platform facing a tunnel gaping maw.
Welcome home.
That's when the lights begin to flash a searing white.
Failsafe required. Failsafe required.
Bruce begins to walk calmly down the stairway as now lights flash red, bathing the cave in a bloody glow.
Detonation sequence initiated. 30 seconds to cave destruct.
Bruce continues down the walkways, pace even, unhurried.
20 seconds to cave destruct.
Interior Batcave, command level, night. Bruce crosses the platform to the giant, dark Batcomputer.
15 seconds to cave destruct.
Bruce takes a beat, then sits gently in the command chair.
10 seconds to cave destruct.
Bruce feels the familiar chair, runs the heels of his hands along the armrests, stares up at the dark screen.
5 seconds to cave destruct. 4, 3.
Bruce stares at his face reflected in the monitor. He leans back, closes his eyes in surrender.
2, 1.
Deactivate failsafe. Confirmation code 1047.
The red light shunt to normal.
Confirm. Failsafe deactivated.
Bruce hangs his head, almost in defeat. Then he looks up.
Alfred, I need you.
A voice, stoic and familiar.
At your service.
A figure steps out of the shadows, elegant in his tails. Alfred Pennyworth.
It's been a long time, sir. 5 years, if I'm correct.
Bruce just stares at his old friend. Exterior roadway, Kansas, night. Headlights sweep a road sign. Smallville, population 1644. A big, old, white Ford Galaxy drives down the dusty asphalt road, heading for the town in the distance. Exterior Smallville, town square, night. The Ford moves slowly through. No one around. All the storefronts are closed. Lights out. Barbershop, general store, hardware. America's heartland. In the Ford, Clark watches at his open window, taking it all in. Exterior Kent Farm, night. Clark's car navigates the long dirt road, arriving at a dark 2-story Edward Hopper-esque farmhouse. Beyond, there is a large barn, silo, and windmill. Clark parks the car and gets out. He looks above to the beautiful night sky, the universe dense with vivid stars. Interior Kent House, entryway, night. Clark enters, pocketing keys. He pauses in the front hall for a long moment, takes a deep breath. Interior Kent House, Clark's room, night. Moonlit, trophies on shelves, Smallville pennants on the wall, framed pictures over the creaky bed, and Clark standing in the open doorway, staring at this room just as he left it. Clark removes something from his jacket. It's an old oilcloth, which he lays on an old wooden desk and folds it. Within is a plastic bag marked "Police Evidence, Do Not Tamper." Close on the bag, inside, a familiar face stares back at him, the terrorist mask grinning up to the mad, empty eyes. Interior Batcave night. Bruce stands over the Bat computer, removes a silver case from his jacket. From within, he lifts a small bumblebee dart he took from Elizabeth's neck. Alfred stands nearby, watching.
I need a full workup on this. Spectrographic, toxicology, DNA. Search any of the matches.
Bruce lays the dart on the scanning panel set in the main console. The panel glows a moment.
No recorded DNA matches besides your own. No abnormal radiations. This dart does contain a nerve toxin consistent with the compound used by the Joker.
Bruce crosses the cave.
Why haunt me with the ghost of a dead man? Why did she have to die? Why not me?
If I may be so bold, sir, who might she be?
Bruce just looks at him, then turns to the giant dark wall.
Reactivate the surveillance net.
The wall suddenly flickers, revealing hundreds of small monitors now starting to slow into life.
Monitor all law enforcement bands, judicial databases, street cameras, and prison surveillance systems.
On the wall, monitors now show images of street corners, offices, courtrooms, even prison cells.
Standard protocols.
Alert for keywords Joker, Elizabeth Wayne, Batman, Kryptonite, Mask, Superman.
In progress.
Bruce is staring at his old friend again.
Is something wrong, sir?
You just seem so real.
It's how you programmed me, sir.
A beat. Then Bruce nods.
What now, sir?
His answer, when it comes, seems full as much of sadness as it does determination.
I go to work.
On the command center level, Bruce crosses to a shining steel door and keypad. He punches buttons. As the door opens, a light gleams down upon the Batman costume and cowl, hung in storage, armored and jet black, awaiting resurrection. Interior Clark's room, late night. Clark has fallen asleep on the bed, fully dressed. A woman's voice is heard gently calling from downstairs. Clark! Clark! Clark stirs, awakening and moving for the door. Interior Kent House, late night. Clark comes downstairs into the dark, empty hallway. No one here, though he remains alone. Quiet voices are heard.
You're special, son. There's no denying it from the day that rocket ship crashed down.
Well, of course, we always knew you were destined for greater things.
There's a whole wide world beyond Smallville, a world that needs you.
Interior Kent House, kitchen, night. Clark enters, touches his mother's apron, still hanging on the pantry peg, looks at his father's old pipe rack. They just need someone to show them the way. Maybe that's why you're here. Maybe that's your destiny. Clark lowers his head, alone with his ghosts, grieving. Exterior over Gotham City, night. 5 gargoyles peer from the skyscraper's Gothic precipice high above the traffic-jammed streets. 1 gargoyle withdraws into shadow. Exterior bank, night. A homeless man guides his overburdened cart down the littered sidewalk past the Gotham National Bank. Interior bank, night. Ropes lead up through a jagged hole in the marble floor. From here, we follow the footprints to scattered pieces of safe-cracking equipment to the open vault.
One-Eyed Charlie had a dream the Batman was back.
Inside the vault, 2 armed thieves, leader and a young thief, wait crouched while the 3rd thief uses a blowtorch on one of the safe deposit boxes. All wear black, sporting elaborate goggles.
Whatever.
Remember the kind of scared you'd get when you were a little kid?
Ghost stories, Pops. I don't think there ever was no Batman.
Drowning, begging, scared, that's what he'd make you feel like.
The kid stares at him a beat, shakes it off.
So some whack job went running around with wings on. So what? You want to shoot? You shoot him. Bang. Done.
A safe deposit door clatters to the vault floor. Leader and young thief look up. Third thief grins. Moments later, young thief yanks out the safe deposit drawer, opens it, filled with sparkling diamonds. Diamonds are dumped into a backpack worn by the leader. Outside the vault, leader and young thief wait as third thief starts down into the hole. Shadow crosses the room from above. Leader looks up. In the skylight, was that a glimpse of a scalloped-edged cape?
What's wrong?
Nothing. Nothing's wrong.
Interior drainage system night. Leader is the last to climb down into this labyrinth of round pipeways. They all flick on the high-density lights on their goggles. Leader's light is a black light, illuminating a day-glow line of spray paint on the pipe wall. Their roadmap.
Let's get moving.
Leader, young thief, third thief splash onwards up to their ankles in water. Follow as they pick up the pace, at a jog, footsteps resounding. Turning here, turning there, guided by the glowing paint through the never-ending passageways. Ahead they pass an adjoining pipe mouth, first leader, then young thief, finally third thief, and something black and terrible leaps out, engulfing third thief. Further on, leader and young thief run oblivious till young thief glances back, slowing.
Hey, stop!
Leader looks back, halting. He walks to join young thief, their lights revealing the empty tunnel behind.
Where'd he go?
This is too much for leader. He flees onwards. Young thief gives one last look, then runs to follow. At the pipeway intersection, leader and young thief arrive at a knee-deep four-way intersection. Leader spins, searching, black light shining, but the paint trail is abruptly gone.
He washed it off. He washed off the paint.
What are you talking about? He who?
Okay. It's this one. Come on, this is the way.
No, we came through here.
Leader's already scrambling down his chosen passage. Young thief pulls his handgun, heading in another direction. Down the pipe, young thief runs, stumbles, falls, gets up, and runs on. Ahead, Batman drops from a vertical pipe, keeps sweeping down. He stands suddenly blocking the way. Young thief halts face to face with the Batman, terrified, quaking, unable to form words.
Use your gun.
Young thief realizes, raises the weapon. Batman swings and the gun fires as it bounces off the wall.
Too late.
Batman punches, smashing the thief's face. Feels the punch. Looks at his hand. Balls and unballs his fist. Feels good. Elsewhere, leader splashes headlong, giving a desperate cry as he finds himself at a dead end. And that's where the young thief's blood-curdling scream echoes down the passageway. Leader spins, freaking. He pulls his gun, facing the dark beyond his goggle light. Opens fire. Bullets sparking, ricocheting down the pipe till the gun goes empty. Click, click, click.
It's just you and me now.
Leader throws the gun down the pipeway, struggling to pull off the backpack, putting his hands in the air.
I give up. I surrender.
Should get your friends to the hospital. Compound fractures can be very time-sensitive injuries.
Batman arrives into the light, stalking slowly forward.
I told you. I surrendered.
Batman spins and kicks, sending Leader flying into the filth.
Not yet.
Leader scrambles up, swings. Batman smashes Leader to the floor. Savage, he stands over Leader, lets out a snarl, begins punching, venting rage with every blow.
Wow.
Batman finally pulls the bloodied thug up, very close.
Used to run with Joker, so you're my man, Eddie. Spread the word, Batman lives. And whoever's masquerading as a clown prince, his blood will spill. He's a dead man.
Leader can only whimper. Batman drops him. Batman lifts his backpack, overturns it, glinting diamonds tumbling through a drainage grate. Batman disappears the way he came. Exterior Kent Farm, dawn, high angle. Dawn paints this tableau of Americana, low clouds weeping crimson, endless fields shining in a radiant glow. Clark, small from this height, crosses the field toward the red board barn, leaving a glittering path in the morning dew. Interior Kent barn, day. The barn door rumbles open. Clark enters in jeans and a flannel shirt. Takes a moment to feel the past. He crosses in the front of the old harvester to the center of the cement floor. He stands still a beat, staring down. His eyes flash blue. Clark drops to his knees. He balls both fists a beat. Then Clark smashes his hands to the cement floor, pulling away chunks of concrete as others tumble downward. Fall with the storm of concrete into a hidden bunker to reveal what stands there, buried these so many years. A gleaming silver spaceship, pointing toward the sky. Interior Kent barn, hidden bunker, moments later. Clark stands on the cement floor surrounded by old dirt walls, touches a cracked lantern, forgotten by Jonathan long ago. He turns and stares at the mighty silver spire.
Awaken.
And the ship suddenly lives. Embossed metal, symbolized glowing, powering up.
Kesharara, Kalufu.
Not, Ento.
Stops, shakes his head at himself, not remembering. Finally.
English.
English, standard.
Initiate system check.
On the whole, a sundial-like timer illuminates around, showing sections, then goes dark. Only the first section staying lit.
Systems check, in progress.
Exterior Smallville, Town Square, day. Postcard perfect. The square is alive in the unseasonable heat. Clark's Ford parks near the hardware store. As Clark gets out, a few folks recognize him, greeting him. Further on, the electronics shop storefront, a few people watch the televisions in the window. Clark stops, joins in.
Confirms the Batman has returned to the streets of Gotham City.
On TV, the bat emblem is shown behind the reporter.
After what police have described as a night of unusually violent clashes between the Batman and members of Gotham's criminal.
Clark's deeply troubled, moving on. Interior hardware store, later day. Clark stands at the front counter.
25 cases. That's a lot of lead ballast you got there.
Heavy. Can someone help me load my truck out?
Boys are already on it.
Hands Clark the bill in exchange for his credit card.
Let's say it's good seeing Jonathan and Martha's boy again. It's been a while.
Always meant to come back more often. I just never did. Hold up a sec, Al. Forget my head if it wasn't too long.
Down one aisle, Clark chooses a lantern. A lovely red-haired woman searches the opposite shelf. Clark's age, white medical coat, sleeves rolled up. She and Clark bump.
Excuse me,
Oh, sorry.
Their eyes meet. Recognition is instantaneous and powerful.
Lana?
Clark, what are you doing here?
Clark's a bit uncomfortable, adjusting his glasses.
Picking up supplies.
Not precisely what I meant.
Surprise is gone, now replaced by a sly smile and powerfully intelligent eyes. This is Lana Lang.
Yes, right here. Just decided to pay a visit.
And me still dressed for the prom.
Clark looks at her white lab coat, frowns.
No, underneath. Come on, tell me you didn't peek.
Clark opens his mouth to speak, eyes going wide.
Oh, relax, Boy Scout, I'm kidding. Joke. Humor. Still the same old Clark.
She leans up and kisses him on the cheek, real affection there, and the ghost of something more.
How's Lois?
Fine? Great. Fine.
If Lana registers his deception, she's too polite to comment on it. Her eyes are light now, playful.
You look well, although I guess that's too predictable.
So do you, Lana. It's nice to see you. It's always nice to see you.
Lana smiles, a gesture sad and sweet. She holds his eyes a beat too long, then looks away.
Well, I better fly.
Lana's eyes narrow.
An actual joke?
You take care, Lana.
You too, Clark Kent.
Clark nods, watches as she turns back to the shelves. That's when the front door bangs open, revealing a distraught teen.
Help, somebody! Dr. Lang, Dr. Lang!
Exterior Smallville Bridge, high angle. Lana and Clark race across the bridge toward two teen girls who are staring anxiously at the fast water below. Exterior Smallville Railroad tracks, day. Lana and Clark stand listening to a frantic girl.
We're playing Truth or Dare. Billy got Dare. Marna said he had to swim across the air pocket inside the old Baylor wreck.
Clark, close. His expression darkens.
He never came back up.
Clark looks to the river. His eyes flash blue. Clark, point of view. At the bottom of the river, Billy is trapped in the rusting, upturned carcass of a car, face pressed to the top, sucking in the last of a dwindling air bubble. He kicks, trying to unwedge his foot from behind the old seats, and the car shifts, water covering the boy's face. Back to scene. Clark dives right off the bridge, knifing straight into the rushing water below.
Whoa.
Exterior, river, underwater. Clark rockets down towards the wreck. The boy is unconscious now, or worse, and the last bubble drifting past his closed eyes. Clark tears the front door free, swims in, and rips away the seat, then takes Billy into his arms, pushing off towards the light to the surface above. Interior hospital emergency room, later. Billy sits on a gurney, blanket wrapped around his shoulders, sipping tea, feet hanging in front of the space heater. Lana stands talking to Billy's mother. By the older woman's expression, we wouldn't want to be Billy. She smiles as the woman thanks her, comes towards us to find Clark leaning against the wall, towel around his neck.
He's going to be fine, at least until he gets home.
Clark smiles. She grabs the towel, dries his hair, wraps it back around his shoulders.
You want dry clothes? We've got some scrubs around here somewhere. Green as this fall's black.
Hard to resist, but I've got to be getting home.
The disappointment flashes in Lana's eyes, just for a second.
I'll walk you out.
Exterior Smallville Hospital, day. Lana and Clark stand by the ER doors. Autumn winds blow. She reaches up, touches the orbit under his eyes.
How exactly do they not fall off?
Always pays to keep a space.
Lana glances around and, seeing no one, reaches forward and takes the glasses off his face, turns them over in her hand.
These are awful, by the way.
She puts them on herself, tries to look serious.
This is a job for Superman.
Clark takes the glasses and puts them back on.
You not do that.
But by his smile, he likes it. He likes her. The moment lasts. Then Clark looks away to the horizon, hands in his pockets.
This place missed you.
Lana reaches forward, moves a lock of hair from his face. Some significance to this, only these two know.
We're always doing this. Saying goodbye. It's our strong suit.
Clark just nods. Lana smiles, brave again.
Thanks for saving the kid, hero. So, need a ride back to your car, or are you going to...
Lana holds her arms out, makes a flying motion.
Well, and Clark Kent these days, and he doesn't do a lot of startles people. We need to walk anyway.
Clark smiles, turns, starts to head off. Hold on Lana. A long beat. Then...
Clark
turns.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry. About Lois.
He looks at her, startled. Lana holds up her hand, takes her naked ring finger. Clark looks down at his own ringless finger.
Would it be too much of an imposition to say if an old friend dropped by for a visit?
Clark looks at her a beat, then answers. Then he smiles.
I like that. I like that very much.
Clark walks away. Lana watches him go. Exterior warehouse district buildings, Gotham, twilight. We focus on one brick warehouse with signage so ancient that the words Acme Novelty Inc. are barely discernible. Interior Acme warehouse, twilight. Here we find an adult-sized crib, outsized rocking chair, and a giant teddy bear. Across the way, much of the loft space is occupied by a sort of laboratory area. Shelves hold model cars and trains, jack-in-the-boxes, grotesque puppets, and dolls with terrible visages. A balding man in an electric wheelchair, W.P. Schott, aka Toyman, works at a cluttered work table, his left hand in a mechanical claw. He uses tweezers on a small time bomb, complete with a small clock and diminutive sticks of TNT. Toyman carefully lifts the time bomb, placing it inside the open chest cavity of a cute doll in a pretty polka dot dress. Without looking, Toyman searches with his good right hand, feeling for something on the table. A gloved hand offers the screwdriver Toyman was groping for. Toyman glances to see Batman watching over his shoulder.
Oh, thank you, Batman.
Toyman accepts the screwdriver, matter of fact, yelps.
Batman? Sweet Fanny Adams, what the hell are you doing here?
Looking for you. Found you.
How did you get past my alarm system?
Tore it out.
What do you want? Or do you just go door to door seeking out reformed convicts unprotected at home?
Batman doesn't answer as Toyman becomes aware of work before him, trying nonchalantly to cover it up with a rag.
This? This is a harmless hobby, purely for my own amusement. What are you gonna do? Have me taken in for unlawful tinkering?
Batman holds up the bumblebee dart that killed his wife.
Looks like your work, Toyman.
What is that? I don't know what you're implying, but I've never seen that before in my life, so...
Batman holds the dart under Toyman's chin. Toyman freezes.
If you've never seen it, then there's nothing more for you to fear than a pinprick.
Careful now, I'm a bleeder.
Batman holds the dart very close to Toyman's pulsing jugular, so the needle tip scrapes against flesh.
You're not quite the man you were last time we met.
Occupational hazard.
Keeping the dart to Toyman's neck, Batman reaches to spin the handle of the large work table vise, opening it.
Put your hand in.
Toyman places his mechanical claw in the vise.
Nice try.
Toyman huffs, putting his healthy right hand in. Batman tightens the vise, putting the card away. Toyman winces.
I'm going to ask you questions. For every answer I don't like, the handle turns.
Subtle.
In the past, you've supplied Joker with these deadly toys.
That was never proven. Ow.
Batman tightens the vise. Toyman bites his lip, sweating.
Who did you make this for?
Now, you look, I never produced any such weaponry, nor supplied it to any persons for any diabolical purposes. You hear me? You may take this as my absolute, resolutely unequivocal denial.
Batman tightens. Toyman's hand is heard cracking. He screams.
Who's impersonating the Joker?
Just across the loft, a toy airplane crashes in through a warehouse window, its engine whirring.
Oh, boy.
It's an old-fashioned biplane with a 5-foot wingspan painted in green and purple. It's heading straight for them, and from behind, the Joker grin painted on the plane's nose. A small machine gun opens fire. Batman dives just as Joker planes strafes, bullets ripping into Toyman's workbench. Batman rolls, recovers with a small batarang held ready. He watches as a Joker plane buzzes across the open warehouse, just beginning its turn towards Toyman.
Okay, Uncle, get me out.
Toyman's trapped. His hand is caught, unable to manipulate the vise with his claw hand, looking up.
Who's impersonating the Joker?
Please, get me out.
The Joker plane is coming back. Toyman beads sweat.
No one, I swear, no one.
The plane is closing.
He's back, Joker's back.
Batman's expression darkens. He throws the batarang. The batarang zips through the air, strikes the vice handle, spinning it, freeing Toyman's hand. Toyman grips the controls of his chair, wheeling clear as the bolts explode across the floor. Looks up. Batman's gone. Toyman barrels toward the service elevator. Toy plane is closing. Bombardier doors open, revealing a toy bomb.
Shit.
Exterior Acme Novelty Night. The side of the building explodes as the entire service elevator is blown out through the wall. Batman looks down from the warehouse roof, illuminated by flames below, scanning nearby streets. Not a soul is in sight. Push in on his face, reflecting the burning hellish amber as if his eyes themselves have become fire. Exterior Kent Farm, barn, dusk. The simple structure in deepening autumn dark. over, a steady, rhythmic clanging. Interior Kent Farm, barn, continuous. Pan across the broken floor, now covered with 2x4s, past empty ballast boxes. Over, more clanging. Pull back. Clark stands, shirtless, over a burning fire pit, hammering the now hot and pliable lead into a form we cannot see. He sets down the hammer, reaches into the ember with his bare hands, and removes the glowing lead box, about a foot square. Clark immerses the box in a water bath, steam rocketing into the air. Clark sits on a workbench and rubs his neck.
Clark? Clark?
Exterior Kent barn, dusk. Clark, pulling on a t-shirt, emerges to find Lana in a summer dress, wrestling a bag of takeout from her car.
When I said visit from an old friend, did I mention today?
She looks radiant in the waning light. He glances back over his shoulder at the barn. She knows him too well.
We can't be fighting evil all the time now, can we?
He still seems unsure. That's when Lana begins fanning her chest, then puts back on her hand to her forehead in fine damsel in distress form.
Oh my. I feel faint.
Her knees buckle.
Oh, help me, Superman, help me.
And she falls, only to be caught by Clark, now impossibly holding her in his arms. She grins. He grins back.
Works every time.
Interior Kent house, kitchen, night. Lit by a few lanterns, Lana follows Clark inside, catches the door before it bangs shut, smiles at Clark.
Out of respect for your mama.
There's a woman who hated a banging door.
Clark goes to the sink, washes his hands as Lana begins laying out the table, knows right where everything is.
What are you working on out there?
Clark just shakes his head. She knows his signals.
Top secret save the world stuff.
Clark dries his hands, comes to help with the table.
Something like that.
Lana's taking out the glasses, holds one up. It's a Welch's grape jelly jar with Archie & Co. jamming around the side.
Clark Kent, you are a total thief.
I'm sure I gave that back.
She just stares at him.
Come on, I had the rest. I need a Jughead for my collection.
If the world only knew.
Clark has moved to the picture window, stares out at the glimmering twilight. The first fireflies flicker.
You okay?
He doesn't turn.
It's just, this is the only place I feel human.
See Lana as she moves up behind him, not touching, but very close. By her face, this pain he carries is familiar to her. Exterior Kent house, sunset. Picture perfect. This man and woman stand together, framed in a window lit by lantern light. They turn to the room, away. Interior Batcave, vehicle platform night. The platform turns to reveal a car out of the myrrh. Out of myth. New, sharper, jet black lines, glowing helm. Tomorrow's Batmobile. Exterior upstate forest, Batcave secret entrance, night. A hidden doorway opens into sheer rock wall. With a roar, the Batmobile explodes into the darkness. Rocketing down a roadway crowded by a dense forest, a sleek black missile speeding along the lights of away from the lights of Gotham. Interior Kent house, evening, later. Clark and Lana sit finishing plates of ribs, corn on the cob, cold cans of beer. Clark lifts the takeout box.
One hell of a cook.
True. Hot sauce?
Clark looks at her blankly. She taps her mouth.
Not a nickname.
Clark grins, takes his napkin, wipes away the sauce.
So you want to talk about what's bothering you?
Clark opens his mouth, but she cuts him off.
Don't insult me.
Clark just nods.
The car today in the lake. You know how I got there?
She looks away, expression darkening. Knew this was coming.
Lex cut the brake lines on Timmy Baylor's car. Back when we were kids. Back when he was trying to prove you were Superman.
I saved Timmy anyway. Pulled him out without Lex ever seeing me.
You saved the day.
Just forgot about the car. One kid almost drowned inside it.
And somehow you're responsible? Is that it?
Clark takes a beat before answering.
How does it work, Lana? When do we stop being responsible?
We're not talking about a war or a car in the river here, are we?
No, I guess not. Something's happened.
Pushes back his chair.
What would you say to a walk?
Thought you'd never ask.
Exterior Kent Farm night. Clark and Lana walk the purple fields, escorted by occasional fireflies. Over. The season's last crickets sing.
The last 20 years dictating what's right, what's wrong, and live which could die, and code. But I'm not one of you. All of this is mine. Not the sky, these fields, the stars. Even our flesh is different.
He takes her hand.
I keep up wondering what it would be like, even for a moment, just to be human.
Do normal men dream of being Superman while Superman dreams of being normal?
I'm dreaming the impossible.
Is that the whole point?
Clark looks to Lana, but she smiles, shrugs it away. Gestures now to an old apple tree on the edge of the field.
We are standing right there. Halloween in the air. God, were we ever that young?
She takes a long breath and she can taste the past.
You said you had to talk to me. We took a long walk. You were so urgent, so nervous.
Nervous? I was terrified.
Lana starts them walking towards the tree.
You took my hand, talked about the good you could do and how your powers were a blessing and how you had to share it with the world. And you lifted me into your arms and we flew. We flew.
I remember it.
Do you know what I thought you were going to tell me? I thought I knew with all of my heart. I thought you were going to ask me to marry you.
Clark stops dead in his tracks.
Boy, was I wrong.
I didn't know. God, Lana, I'm so sorry.
Don't be. It was the strangest, the most beautiful, and the most worst night of my life.
Why didn't you say something? Why didn't you?
How could I? I saw what you saw in yourself. In time, I saw what Superman became. You touched so many more lives than just those you saved. You represented so much more, but can I tell you a secret? I didn't fall in love with Superman.
Tears starting to spill down her cheeks now. So many. Held back for so long.
I've fell in love with that clumsy little boy with the glasses. I fell in love with Clark Kent, and on that night I lost him, and I still miss him terribly.
She looks down, trying to stem the tears. He reaches to her, lifts her chin with his fingers. His eyes sparkle too.
Are you there, Clark?
And they kiss, for all the years lost, and the kiss is good. Exterior Kent Farm, wide shot night. In Clark's window, we see the silhouette of Lana leading Clark inside on this perfect night. Room lights now going dark. Exterior Old Cemetery night. On the outskirts of Gotham, Batman walks the fog-shrouded night, past crooked gravestones, past dead, leafless trees. Exterior Kent Farm night, intercut. Lana moves her arm across the breeze-swept sheets. Stirs awake, no Clark. She is alone. Lana rises to the window, body in shadow in the moonlight, looks down to see a singular figure walking towards the barn. Exterior cemetery night, intercut. Batman comes to stand before one grave, candles and dead flowers on the headstone. Batman swipes these tributes away with a crowbar. hefts a shovel, begins digging. As he digs the hard earth, we move to reveal the headstone reads Jack Napier, but amongst the graffiti and the pentagrams, someone has scratched a name, the Joker. Interior Kent barn, bunker, intercut. A single lantern illuminates the darkness. Clark stands staring up at the mighty ship.
Open fuel chamber.
Warning, kryptonite radiation levels exceed maximum tolerance.
Do it.
A section of the hull becomes transparent, revealing a green rock within. Two polarized doors open like wings. The bunker is bathed in a powerful green glow, washing over Clark. Instantly, his face pales, veins emerging. Exterior cemetery intercut. Batman digs at the grave with greater effort and greater urgency, sweat dripping down his masked face. Interior Kent barn, bunker, intercut. Clark reaches into the chamber and removes the glowing kryptonite with tongs. The effect on him is awful, body contracting, organs being poisoned by the lethal radiation. Exterior cemetery intercut. Batman tosses the shovel, falls to his knees, begins clawing at the soil from the edge of the black coffin. Exterior Kent farm intercut. Clark drops to his knees, still holding the rock and tongs, manages to deposit it into the lead box, closes the lid. Exterior cemetery intercut. Batman climbs from the grave's feet. He retrieves the crowbar, turning back, when a sound from the coffin stops him. In the grave, dirt stirs as the coffin lid shifts, then the lid slowly begins to rise. Interior Kent farm, bunker, intercut. Clark places the familiar plastic evidence bag inside the transparent fuel compartment. Hatch doors close.
Commence engine startup.
The sundial readout flickers to life. Exterior cemetery intercut. Batman stands staring, eyes widening in disbelief. The coffin creaks open ever so slowly. Then suddenly it springs wide, a ghastly, garish face rising up. It's a Joker in the box, a giant, green-haired, white-skinned Joker face bobbing up and down on a spring-loaded sleeve. Mocking, recorded laughter issues forth. Interior Kent farm, bunker, intercut. Clark stares into the fuel chamber, now beginning to glow.
Analyzing fuel sample.
The evidence bag and mask within starts to steer and burn. Exterior cemetery intercut. Batman swings the crowbar, smashing the leering Joker's face. He swings again, silencing the laughter, ripping into the papier-mâché skull. Interior Kent farm, bunker, intercut. The bag and mask melt away, leaving only tiny, hovering green particles, staring up at Superman in taunting shape of a laughing green ghost. Exterior cemetery intercut. Batman hurls the entire Joker in the box from the grave, breathing hard, looking down to an empty coffin below. Pull back and up as Batman stands in the cemetery, fists wide, face to God, and screams. Interior Batmobile, windscreen, moving, night. The tree-lined roadway peels back in the wedge of headlights at impossible speed. Batman's mask is reflected in the glass. Alfred's face appears on the inside of the windscreen, framed in flickering telemetry.
There's been a disturbance, sir, as you predicted, at Citizens Plaza.
Batman cuts the wheel hard, afterburner roaring, ice fixed dead ahead, dark and rageful, determined. Exterior Citizens Plaza, Gotham City, night. Marked by a historical placard, the unbolted bat signal is now lifted by a forklift operated by two men. Both are too tall, too lanky, wearing identical tuxedos. We do not see their faces. This theft occurs under the strobe of flashing red lights, since two patrol cars are on the scene. Problem is, the responding officers lie insensate, face down on the ground. One man guides the forklift while the other drives, depositing the bat signal in a waiting outsized armored car. The Batmobile skids to a stop, headlights glaring. Its driver's hood slides to open as Batman leaps out, glancing to the downed officers as he strides forward.
That's public property.
Batman grabs one man, spins him. His face is pale, eyes black, malevolent, his lips sewn shut. This is Jeeves 1. Jeeves 1 swings incredibly fast, but Batman is faster, ducking the blow, open palming the ghoul in the neck. Batman whips a club from his utility belt, smashes Jeeves back and forth across the face, a final kick sending him flying over the wall. Over, a growling, Batman looks up to see Jeeves 2 as he jumps from the forklift, likewise monstrous, lips sewn. Batman leaps upwards, colliding with the ghoul in midair, spinning him as they fall, landing hard atop the creature. Batman delivers a series of powerful blows.
Now, is that any way to treat the help, Batman?
Batman reacts standing. We recognize the terrorist's low, menacing voice, somehow amplified from above.
You're not the only gentleman with a gentleman's gentleman. I've only got myself a man Friday and Saturday.
Jeeves 1 and 2 leap standing with an almost blurring agility and unnatural speed, looking impossibly unfazed.
Although, I didn't rest Sunday. I cooked up a few enhancements.
Jeeves turns toward Batman. Wet eyes gleam hungrily.
Now, boys. Patience. You can eat him later. Back to work.
Reluctantly, the two Jeeves move like blurs back to the bat signal. Batman is trying to pinpoint the echoing voice.
But why so confused, sweetheart? Don't you recognize my voice? Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Batman's chill as the voice changes, getting higher until it's reached a sickeningly recognizable sing-song.
You know me because you made me. You loathe me almost as much as you love me. Ladies and gentlemen.
Atop the armored car, a figure moves in the shadows.
Girls and boys, behold the new and improved, the one and only, the Harlequin of Horror.
The figure steps forward into the flashing red lights, arms extended, bullhorn in one hand, swagger stick in the other.
Joker.
The Joker glares down, lean and lethal, in a purple zoot suit, green-haired, white-skinned, grinning his wet, blood-red grin literally from ear to ear.
A man who will live in infamy as Batman's murderer. Now that is what I call an entrance. Oh, terrific. So dramatic.
Batman's stunned, horrified.
How?
I came prancing back from the grave, and all you can manage is a meek, monosyllabic how. That's a fair question, actually, but there's no time for that answer right now.
Joker tosses the bullhorn, does a handstand, flipping spryly down off the roof into the armored car, landing on his feet between Jeeves 1 and Jeeves 2. He smiles, lethal.
We've got to hit the road. We've already met. Jeeves 1 and Jeeves 2, they'd say it hello, but I prefer my manservants seen and not heard.
Batman regains his rage, races towards them.
Uh-oh, here comes Mr. Angry.
At Joker's side, Jeeves 2 turns to the back of the armored car, now hefting a flamethrower and opening fire. As a jet of flame issues, Batman ducked, wrapping himself inside of his cape. Batman's completely engulfed by fire. As Joker and Jeeves 1 climb up, joining the bat signal in the rear of the armored car, Jeeves 2 ceases fire.
Fare thee well, Batsy. I'll call you when I need you.
Batman peers out from his smoldering yet undamaged cape. Jeeves 2 climbs up, joins the Joker in slamming the doors of the armored car, revealing a painted Joker face. Batman runs to grasp the door handles as they're heard locking. Joker presses his mouth against one of the gun slots, so very close, whispering.
Tell me the truth. Did you miss me? Oh, I've sure missed you. We're gonna have a blast.
Joker laughs. Batman slams his fist against the door. The armored car sets in motion, pulling away. Exterior Gotham streets below, seconds later. The armored car crashes the other cars aside, tires screaming. The Batmobile hits the streets, weaving through the aftermath, speeding in pursuit. Follow as rear doors of the armored car swings open. The Joker rears his clowny head, thumbing his nose. In the Batmobile, Batman grits his teeth, thumbing a control lever on the steering wheel, as translucent crosshairs appear on the windshield, sifting as they attempt to lock on the Joker's head. But just as the system beeps, target lock, Joker tosses a child's play ball. On the street, a colorful ball bounces high. The Batmobile swerves away as the ball bounces, exploding. At the back of the armored car, Joker laughs.
Follow my bouncing balls, Batman!
Jeeves, too, hands over another play ball decorated in yellow daisies, which Joker kicks out. The Batmobile swerves, daisy ball explodes. Other cars react, crashing. Joker kicks a bright orange ball. The Batmobile falls back, orange ball bounces, explodes. In the Batmobile, flames overtake the driver's hood for an instant. Batman shifts gears, accelerating. On the street, the Batmobile rages forward, ramming the armored car from behind. Joker squeals, holding on for dear life. The Batmobile rams again. Joker's freaked, reaching out, grasping for the door. In the armored car's cabin, Joker enters from the back of the truck, Jeeves 1 driving.
Too exciting back there. Go keep your namesake. Daddy's gonna take the wheel.
He replaces Jeeves 1 behind the steering wheel. On the street, the Batmobile makes its move, pulling up along the armored car's left side. Joker's driving now, jerking the wheel left, slamming the Batmobile. They're really flying, crashing together, sparks flying, metal crunching. Ahead, red light, a crowd of night Denzian begins their march into the crosswalk from both sides as the Batmobile and the armored car close fast, side by side at full speed. Pedestrians scatter as the Batmobile brakes, skidding. Falling behind with mere inches to spare as both vehicles zoom in just barely between fleeing pedestrians. In the Batmobile, Batman grips the steering wheel.
Afterburners.
The computer beeps. On the street, flames blast from Batmobile's exhaust. The Batmobile accelerates exponentially, overtaking the armored car, cutting in front. Nozzles extrude from the Batmobile's bumper, spraying oil. At an intersection, the Batmobile blows through, rearing straight, while the Joker's armored car hits the slick, fishtailing, spinning. The armored car finally stops spinning, regaining its traction, halts. Down the block, the Batmobile makes a tire-burning 180-degree turn, heading back. In the armored car's cabin...
Oh, Jeeves! One of you be a darling and bring Joker the big gun.
Joker pulls the truck in gear, driving. On the street, the armored car is coming from one direction. The Batmobile is closing in from the other, picking up speed. Afterburners kicking in, and it all happens at once. Jeeves, too, leans from the armored car's passenger window, aiming a bazooka, just as we recognize a smiley face painted on it. The missile is already on its way. In the Batmobile...
Eject!
Computer beeps, an explosion blasts off the Batmobile hood and fires Batman upwards like a fighter pilot ejecting. On the street, with a head-on collision imminent, Batman sent skyward as the missile whistles to impact, destroying the Batmobile in a tremendous explosion. But there's barely a moment to marvel at the shrapnel spewing explosion that used to be the Batmobile as the armored car smashes through at full throttle. In mid-air above, Batman flips, cape expanding behind. He aims a grappling pistol downward, fires. The hook shoots out, trailing fired. In the armored car...
Hooey! Well, it's not a party till something gets broken.
Jeeves, too, dutifully rolls the passenger window up. Joker leans forward, looking up, searching.
Where did that bat fly away to?
On the street, the armored car speeds along while above, Batman glides after, keeping aloft by his billowing cape, gripping the wire attached to the truck, pulling himself in, hand over hand. In the armored car, a heavy thud is heard on the trunk's roof.
Well, asked and answered.
Joker growls as Batman jumps down to perch on the hood of the armored car, looking in, pissed. Batman slams his fist against the bulletproof windshield, no effect. He brings out a batarang and uses it to gouge an X in the glass.
Interesting.
Batman starts punching the X, cracking the glass.
Persistent, isn't he?
On the hood, Wind whips at Batman. He keeps punching the windshield, relentless, grunting with each strike, punching, punching, punching. It's painful to watch, but he's managing to bash a ragged hole in the safety glass. Batman jams his hand through the hole, grasping at Joker. In the armored car, Joker's laughing at Batman, desperately reaches for his throat, but Joker's just barely out of reach.
Nice try, lover boy. But it looks like this is your stop.
Joker brakes with both feet, pulling the handbrake. On the street, the armored car lurched, tires smoking, throwing Batman. Batman hits the pavement, rolling, tumbling brutally, coming to a land in a heap. The armored car's headlights illuminate. Batman tries to stand. The armored car is almost about to run him down. The armored car brakes violently, stopping within a foot of the helpless Batman. Joker emerges, walks to the floor.
Too bad your friend in the red and blue pajamas didn't kill me when he had the chance.
Joker kicks Batman in the face with a steel-tipped boot.
Too bad for you, and too bad for yummy Elizabeth.
Joker kicks are increasing in savagery.
When you see her in hell,
Joker stomps down on Batman's throat.
Say hi.
Joker's bearing down, crushing the life from Batman. That's when something odd happens. Both Jeeves grab Joker, pull him off, struggling off Batman.
All right, I'm fine.
A beat. The two Jeeves release him. Joker gathers himself, adjusts the imaginary necktie, steps towards Batman.
Yes. The boys are right. Now's not the time. But don't despair, Brucey boy.
Joker delivers one final kick to Batman's head, savage. The Jeeves lurch forward, but Joker wards them off with upheld hands, an expression of surrender. Looks back toward the fallen Crusader, voice turning deadly serious.
You'll be tasting her cold kiss very, very soon.
Batman can only watch as Joker stumbles back to the armored car. Batman slumps, bleeding, defeated. Interior Kent House, kitchen, dawn. Clark sits at the table. He's holding a detached sundial readout in his hand. All the sections are now lit.
Two read-throughs at the same time.
Hey, didn't you used to sleep?
Lana has entered from upstairs, dressed, comes up behind him, laying hands on his shoulders.
What's that?
Chip brought me to Erik, runs on kryptonite.
Lana comes around the table to look at him.
Start her up, she automatically analyzes her own fuel type. Like a car scanning to see if you put high test or regular in the tank.
My car would hate me.
I have a piece of evidence with kryptonite on it. I'm hoping the ship can recognize its subtype. Maybe I can link the kryptonite to some previous adversary.
That's why you came back, Clark.
But he's already getting up, pushing through the screen door and onto the porch. Lana catches the door, follows. Exterior Kent House, porch, dawn. The first hints of light illuminate ominous dark clouds gathering on the horizon.
Storm's coming.
Lana says nothing.
What's the price of heroics, Lana? Prevent a murder, and the murderer goes free. Save one life and dozens more may die as a result.
Clark looks toward the barn.
Not human. Who am I to dispense justice to humanity?
When Lana's answer comes, there's a sadness to her smile. Clark just stares at her.
Last night, you pretended to be just Clark Kent. I let you pretend. But you're not. Never be.
Clark starts to speak, but she doesn't let him.
You may be an alien, Clark, and I may be human, but that doesn't make us different. But it's in our blindness that makes us the same. Human, Kryptonian, none of us knows what our actions will bring, so we act in ignorance every day, every hour, believing, despite all evidence to the contrary, that we can do some good. It's that belief that makes us common, and our faith that makes us humane.
Lana moves that lock of hair from his forehead again.
We do good because we believe in good.
It's not that simple.
Yes, it is.
She leans in and kisses him softly on the mouth.
I've got to get to the hospital. Early shift.
She steps down off the porch.
Don't think I'm being selfless. How long could you leave your answers forgotten on the kitchen table?
She gestures to the sundial in his hand.
How many cries for help ignored before you'd start to hate what you'd done, and for me letting you?
She takes a last look at her first, best love.
How could you ever just sit back and let nature take its course, knowing you could have saved 100 lives? Knowing you could have saved a man, or you could save just one. You can't be the man that comes home from a hard day with roses, because your day never ends, and that's lucky for the world. It's just unlucky for me. And for you. I love you. Goodbye, Clark Kent.
And with that, Lana turns to go beneath the darkening sky. Exterior Victorian mansion day. Somewhere upstate from Gotham, ornate fencing, rusted razor wire surrounds what must have been a beautiful Victorian mansion. Once. Now abandoned, windows boarded up. Interior Victorian mansion. Dining room, day. At the formal dining table, the Jeeves sit facing empty plates as Joker checks IV bottles running into their arms.
You know, boys, too often we lose sight of what's really important. The simple moments, sitting down to a dinner together as a family.
Joker drums a feeding bottle with green fingernails.
I just felt someone needed to say it, so why not me?
Joker crosses the room to a serving table. On the wallpaper, Joker is dead. Long live Joker, he who laughs last.
I can't even describe the thrill I felt when I first saw him again for the first time.
The Jeeves watch him. One of their bottles gurgles.
It was like a bolt of lightning through my body.
Joker examines an array of Pyrex jars filled with colorful chemicals on the serving counter.
Even begin to comprehend the shame he felt, the humiliation as he lay there, utterly defeated.
Joker lifts a hypo spray, fills it with a red elixir.
Think of it! His tortured soul, his boiling blood, his every thought consumed by fantasies of revenge.
Joker injects the hissing ampule of red elixir into his arm, eyes rolling in pained ecstasy.
More of Daddy's special formula makes the body ultra fast and ultra strong.
Joker lifts a jar of the red liquid, turns it in his hand.
And don't think your able-bodied assistance has gone forgotten.
Joker sets the red liquid down, now lifts a jar of black fluid marked with an innocuous yellow smiley face sticker.
Yes, death would have been far too simple. I've been in the ground. I know. You were right to stop me. He has to suffer first.
Joker crosses to the two of them, holding the jar behind his back so they can't see its deadly black contents.
I admire your dedication to the cause, your slavish obedience to shall we say, higher power. I have only one question to ask.
Joker has begun pouring the chemical into the Jeeves 4 bottles, making falling black clouds into the clear fluid. Oh, Ivy.
How dare you!
The Jeeves look down at the black fluid hitting their arms. They grab for the tubes. Too late. Their faces are already starting to contort. Joker is suddenly calm again. The Jeeves' stitches are tearing loose now, their mouths twisting upwards into horrible, familiar death grins.
Me and only me.
The Jeeves' grins fix, eyes going wide, heads falling back.
Until terminated.
Joker jumps up on the counter.
Still, I must thank you. Posthumously, of course. Were it not for your intrusive attentions, I would have lost my chance to savor his agony, to drink his tears, to clutch his misery in my hands. Press it to my breast. Cherish it.
Joker shouts to the heavens, not just homicidal rage, but beneath the real horror of madness.
Oh, Bruce, I have your just reward. Listen. Can you hear it coming? Listen.
Joker closes his eyes, savoring the whispered thought.
The gentle rustling, like leaves skittering across the sidewalk on an autumn day, of your last gasp as you beg for your death.
Interior the Batcave, Command Center Lab, day. Batman stands at the comm of the Bat computer. The man's screen is sectioned into flashing video images of the Joker.
It's a nightmare. I can't awaken from.
Alfred stands watching, arms crossed, silent. You should have changed the locks. Batman spins to see a figure standing atop the access stairway, dark hair, flowing trench coat, Barbara Gordon.
What are you doing here?
Barbara begins walking down the steps. I'd forgotten how big this place is. A little dusty, though.
I'll ask you again.
No, Bruce, that's what I'm here to ask you. She takes a folded paper from under her arm, drops it onto the comm. Headline close, Batman fights Joker, Midnight Mayhem. 4 buildings destroyed in the last 2 days. 15 criminals in the hospital, 6 on the critical list.
More than anyone, you know what these freaks are capable of.
They're not what scares me.
Spare me the melodrama.
Barbara walks to the edge of the platform. Computer, activate display lights.
As you wish.
A series of case lights flicker to life. Bruce shoots Alfred a sharp look. Barbara catches it. Don't be angry with him. You programmed him to respond to my voice. You used to like my voice, remember? Barbara is walking to the cases, and the first 2 are older Batman costumes. Next to them stands a sleek female version. I'm flattered you kept it. But it is still the last 2 cases where she stops. One houses the familiar yellow and green of the Robin costume, the next the black and the red of the Nightwing gear. Do you remember how happy he was to get out of those tights? This one made him look so handsome.
You're right.
She glances up at him.
I should have changed the locks.
This is exactly what happened last time. Batman says nothing. After Dick died, how many did you almost kill? If I hadn't pulled you off Two-Face, what would you have done to him? You were becoming one of them.
What should I do, Barbara? Hope your boys in blues catch him?
Bruce.
He murdered my wife.
Yes, he did. And I'm sorry. But look at you, down here in the shadows, talking to a ghost. She swings her head toward Alfred, and it passes through his head. He stands, entirely stoic, unperturbed. Plotting revenge? I know what the dark does, inside. We both do. He's killing you, too.
You don't understand what it's like to lose.
Don't I? What about my father? What about you? Batman opens his mouth to speak, closes it again. That mask doesn't give you the right to kill. You will not cut a path of blood through my city.
Stay out of my way, Barbara.
Or what? She turns to face him, looking into his eyes, taking measure. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this is what you want. Maybe you've always wanted. Another excuse to hurt someone, another call to violence to cause so much pain that you don't have to feel your own. She opened palms his chest plate hard. Maybe the monster's in here.
Is that all, Commissioner Gordon? Because if so, I have work to do.
A beat. Then she turns and walks towards the stairs. Stop yourself, Bruce, before someone else has to. And with that, she's gone.
What is happening to me, Alfred?
Perhaps that is a question better asked of the living.
Just then, a flock of bats flies upwards from the darkness, shrieking, dispersing everywhere at once. Interior Kent House, living room, day, storm, dark. Over, wind howls. Rain sheets the windows. A newscaster is heard from a transistor radio on the sill.
Severe thunderstorms warning for all the Great Plains.
Over, thunder. Wind slams the screen door again and again. The empty room is illuminated by lightning.
A tornado watch has been issued for the following counties: Norton, Graham.
Hold on the glowing sundial, sitting on the table, forgotten. Exterior Smallville, late afternoon, storm. Cars, bundles hastily tied to the roof racks, are streaming out of town. Clark walks the dark, pouring rain against traffic. Clark passes a car pulled up on the shoulder. Two men trying to shoulder it back onto the road, wheels spinning in the mud.
Hey, buddy, can you give us a hand?
But Clark just keeps walking. He passes a young woman shrieking hysterically for her son.
Help me, somebody! I can't find my boy! Somebody help me, please!
But Clark just keeps walking against the columns of slowly moving lights, deeper into the darkness. A man on a mission. Interior Lana's house, late afternoon. Over, thunder cracks. Lana is battening storm shutters. The lights flicker. Outside, the sky is closed. Night black. Lana goes to the window, the lights flickering again, now going out entirely. See what she sees. Outside, a single figure stands in the yard, illuminated by lightning, drenched by the torrential rain. Clark. Exterior laying yard continuous. Clark stands staring at Lana. To his right, maybe a mile off, the dark demon of the tornado can now be seen ripping through the cornfields, heading towards the lights of Smallville. Interior Lana's house, continuous. Lana holds his eyes. She can see the tornado behind him now, heading away, her house spared, the twister hungry for the richer terrain of the small and helpless city beyond. Exterior laying yard, continuous. The tornado is raging behind him, fires and debris exploding in the distant plumes. Still, Clark holds her gaze, unmoving. Then slowly, he drops his head. Interior Lana's house, continuous. Lana almost smiles, her eyes shining with tears. Exterior laying yard, continuous, slow motion. Clark lifts his head in slow motion, lit by lightning, rain streaming off him in rivulets, eyes burning. Interior Lana's house, continuous, double cut. Lana sees him, his head whipping up impossibly fast, arms going over his head like a winged prayer, and he's gone. Exterior storm skies, seconds later. Clark shoots straight into the blackened sky, glasses whipping off his sheer, higher, faster wind, literally tearing off his clothes to reveal Superman. Exterior Smallville farmland day. A roaring tornado tears across the sprawling fields of wheat and corn. It hurtles debris, cutting away a swath of destruction as it rages toward a nearby roadway. There's an old 4x4 truck speeding down the road, heading for town, but the tornado's coming fast. An old farmer drives fearful. His old wife is the passenger. Their dog is in the back seat, barking at the tornado out the rear window. Old wife looks back, frightened. It's coming, Frank. It's coming.
I'm driving as fast as I can.
Dear, I don't think that's going to be fast enough. Old farmer ducks to check the rear view mirror, worried.
Me either.
Out the rear window, the funnel looms larger, closer, its shadow darkening the truck's interior. The dog keeps barking. Old Farmer bends forward, willing the truck to go faster. Debris begins to rain down the road ahead. Old Farmer reaches to clutch his wife's hand.
I love you, Joni.
I love you, Frank. Debris pounds down. He wraps an arm around her. The dog lets out a yelp. The windshield cracks. Old wife screams.
Hold on!
The truck begins to lift as the tornado sweeps them into the maelstrom, the world outside turning, upending horribly. Suddenly, the truck jars, as if struck, and somehow impossibly rights itself, steadying as the horizon returns to horizontal. The truck's still flying, though, moving away from the disaster, leaving the tornado behind. Exterior bridge, day. Superman flies down, carrying the truck. He's above, holding it by its roof rack, so he's not seen by the old farmer and old wife inside, nor by the dog, for that matter. Superman gently places the truck down beneath this rusty bridge, providing meager shelter from the storm. Superman rises away, glancing back, flying off. In the truck, old farmer and old wife still hold each other, finally daring to open their eyes, disoriented, uncertain.
Sweet Lord, what happened?
I'm not sure. Are we dead?
This is heaven?
Old farmer and old wife lean forward together, peering out at the dripping underside of the bridge. Looks like Kansas. The dog pops up from his hiding place in back, barks. Exterior edge of Smallville, day. The twister roars on, ripping up telephone poles, transformers, exploding. It's throwing cars, devouring pavement, heading towards exterior Smallville, Main Street, day. On the sidewalk, a father rushes with his two sons toward the slamming door of a public storm shelter. A boy glances up.
Look, Daddy, it's a bird.
Two women are trying to get their Razorbacks into a Volvo. One dog begins barking excitedly at something in the sky.
Is that a plane?
A vendor hastily slams his store grate closed, looks nervously over his shoulder. Something catches his eye.
It's Superman!
A red and blue streak cuts straight at the tornado. Superman begins soaring around the tornado, circling it clockwise, battling the counterclockwise twist of the tornado's 400-mile-per-hour winds. Superman tenses, speed increasing as he disappears into a blur of motion, forming his own blue-red whirlwind, a tornado within the tornado, in the opposite direction. With an animalistic shriek from the vortex, Superman is thrown, hurling across the sky. Spinning out of control until he holds his arms out, slowing, righting himself, turning to look as the tornado is dying from the ground up, twisting arms of wind faltering, eddying like ghostly tendrils swirling to nothingness. A golden shaft of sunlight shines down upon Smallville like a blessing bestowed, a vision of heaven on earth. Exterior Lana's house, afternoon. The clouds are clearing, dappled sunlight illuminating the front porch. Lana emerges from inside. Hold on her expression now, going from puzzlement to smiling wonder. Pull back to reveal the porch is covered with roses, hundreds of roses. Exterior Kent Farm, after storm. Barn door stands open in the golden light. Interior Kent barn, after storm, seconds later. Track across the floor to the open pit to find Clark fitting the sundial readout back onto the ship's hull.
Display fuel fingerprint. Identify kryptonite.
Processing request. Data follows.
Push in on Clark as he stared at the scrolling readout.
No.
Exterior Metropolis maximum security prison, day. Sun breaks off monolithic windowless building. Interior Metropolis prison, day. Superman walks the corridor, paced by the warden on one side, and on the other a lawyer wearing Coke bottle glasses.
The terms of my client strictly forbid any direct human contact.
That won't be a problem.
If the conditions of incarceration are to be violated, then I demand Mr. Luthor's rights to renegotiate certain privileges.
They have come to a metal door, flanked by 2 uniformed guards. Superman turns to face the attorney.
Walk away.
I must insist.
Okay. Walk away.
The beat lasts. The lawyer lowers his head. The warden uses a key card, takes a retinal scan. Gears turn. A seal hisses.
Guess I don't have to tell you to be careful.
The door locks click. The thick steel door hisses open. Interior Metropolis Prison security cell continuous. Stark. No windows. Bolted furniture. TV set in the wall. We see only the outline of a prisoner seated in the darkness. His voice is deep and full of authority.
Been strangely absent from the news these last few days. Have you been awake, Kal-El?
Hello, Lex.
Long dark night of the soul.
The prisoner's fingers, long, sharpened nails, reach to turn on a lamp by its dimmer, slowly illuminating a handsome man in prison fatigues, his head completely bald. Lex Luthor.
I imagine you hear about this business with Batman.
Why would you think that?
Whenever someone acts in ways you find disagreeable, you assume I'm involved.
Are you?
Luthor smiles, a sight to chill your bones.
No,
Then tell me something.
almost anything.
How would a terrorist get his hands on kryptonite?
Not as hard to come by as in the old days. More is the pity.
Same radiation signature as the kryptonite bomb you detonated in orbit.
Well, I can hardly keep track of my toys when I'm pulled from the playfield, can
But you don't seem surprised.
surprised that someone wishes to hear argue with some insincere.
Who are you working with, Lex? Who has access to your materials?
Now, why would I tell you when I would tell those oh so persuasive fellows from Metro PD?
Because I'm asking you. Nicely.
Lex stares at him a beat. Then he smiles.
And in return,
What would you like?
Lex stares at him another beat. Then,
10 minutes with my lawyer in my cell, unsupervised. I have affairs I wish to put in order.
Superman takes a beat. Then,
Done.
All right, Kal-El, but you won't like what you do.
Lex stands. He's taller, more powerful than we might have expected. A worthy foe.
The project was called Achilles' Heel, a destination, not mine, as it reflects a rather pedestrian understanding of the classics.
I'm listening.
The purpose was simple: to gather and enhance kryptonite in order to create a bomb. A bomb that, when detonated in orbit, will make the Earth lethal.
Superman just stares at him.
My employer was the United States Department of Defense.
You're lying.
Don't insult me, Kal-El. Our government wanted a kryptonite bomb. And you know why? They wanted it for the day you woke up and decided it was truth, justice, and some other way. That's the real reason I'm here as Superman. Because I tried to be rid of you before you were ready.
Superman continues to stare.
Poor Superman. So naive. You'll never understand this. I have nothing against you. These are paternalistic meddling I despise. You may have pulled the others along in your tide of self-delusion, but I know what you really are. You're an alien invasion of one. You're the robbers of my destiny.
Destiny? To destroy each other, to terrorize and murder?
Yes, and worse if we need to. March ourselves to the brink of annihilation and beyond. Or if we are noble enough, to choose a better course. We become what we were destined to become. Creatures wrought in our own image, not in yours. Who gave you the right? We are God.
This is a manipulation, Lex.
Yes, of course. That doesn't make it true.
Somehow, you're trying to pit Batman and me against each other.
No, Superman. Your mere presence on this planet has done that. I have not enjoyed Batman to slay the interloper. But if he does, how I will reply.
Lex shakes his head.
Pity poor Gringo. Never knew he was the monster. As he died. Batman is a harbinger of things to come.
Luthor turns into the darkness.
Eventually, we will all turn against him. One day, I will see a world without Superman. One day soon.
Pull back to reveal. Interior Batcave night. The wall monitors for a single image. A surveillance angle of Superman and Lex in Luthor's cell. Bruce turns to Alfred.
Act Langley. Give me everything you can find on the Achilles heel project.
Exterior Joker's Victorian mansion night. Jeeves 1 stands on the roof, releasing a sizable toy Zeppelins one by one, propellers whirring. Each airship is naturally adorned on both sides with Joker's grinning visage.
Here, boy. Come and play. Sit. Roll over. Beg. Play dead.
The wind carries the many Joker Zeppelins off in a line, high into the star-bright evening. Exterior Gotham overview night. Gotham City stands, as always, sinister against the night. Interior Gotham office building night. On a high floor of offices, a yawning cleaning lady runs her vacuum back and forth. Outside floor-to-ceiling windows, leaflets begin to fall, spinning and flapping from above. Cleaning lady walks over, curious, pressing her face against the glass as hundreds of leaflets flutter down. Exterior above Gotham night. Gondolas beneath the Joker Zeppelins open, releasing leaflets by the ream over the city. On Gotham streets, night. Leaflets fall into the hands of hundreds of pedestrians. People begin catching them, picking them up, reading them. Exterior above Metropolis, night. Metropolis gleams as ever beautifully. Joker Zeppelins drop more leaflets from skyscraper heights. Interior Daily Planet, newsroom, night. At desk after desk, all computers are on, though only a few reporters toil at this hour. A cartoon Joker face pops up on one screen, and then another, and another, until the cartoon Joker's on every screen, giving an endless braying, ha 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 ha.
Hello, everyone. My name's Joker. Sorry I had to overwrite your hard drive, but I've got some news for you.
Exterior Metropolis street, night. Pedestrians hurry to work. Some stop to watch as in a display window, a reporter speaks from many televisions.
Called the Joker Worm has infected thousands of computers, announcing Joker's challenge to the Batman of Gotham City.
Nearby, a policeman reads a leaflet to his partner. We only glimpse the leaflet, which looks like an old boxing poster with tin-type pictures of Batman and Joker's faces.
The main event.
Interior office elevator, Metropolis, day. One woman reads the leaflet to everyone in her elevator.
4 a.m., the hour of nightmares.
Interior MTA bus, in motion, day. One passenger excitedly reads to the other passengers.
Friday the 13th, Joker versus Batman.
Interior the Daily Planet, newsroom, day. Perry White reads the jostling staff around him.
To the death in Metropolis. Where the hell is Kent?
Close on the leaflet, Joker's face as thunk. A small razor batarang embeds between Joker's eyes. We are in the Batcave, Command Center Lab, night. Batman stands looking to where he flung the batarang.
Son?
Bruce turns to find Alfred standing right behind him.
Did you say?
Sir?
Oh, never mind. What is it?
I have confirmed the project's existence and its location.
Exterior upstate countryside, night. Rising over the mountaintops, the breathtaking Batcopter rages past the breakneck pace. Jet assist engines blazing. Exterior Rocky Mountains bluff, night. With the Batcopter parked in a field behind, Batman balances atop a steep, rocky outcropping using binoculars. Batman's point of view through binoculars. A large factory amidst remote forest with 2 smokestacks. The DC skyline shines in the distance. Our PO zooms in. A large billboard on the main building announces Grandma Millie's Cookie Company, and there's a cartoon figure of Grandma Millie bending to take cookies from the oven. Exterior forest night. Batman moves stealthily through the moonlit forest. A branch is heard snapping. Batman waits, listens. Footsteps ahead. Batman presses the bat emblem on his chest, so his entire costume does a chameleon-like color change from black to patchwork camouflage brown, green, and gray as he backs into a dense foliage, disappearing before our very eyes. After a moment, 2 U.S. military guards in black uniforms patrol on foot, silently, rifles held ready. In the foliage, Batman's eyes open, watching them pass. Interior factory, night. Batman opens a ceiling vent. There is no cookie factory. There's a giant circular water tank below. The air crackles with electricity because 4 huge transformer rods extend down the articulated arms to the water, charging it with what all say danger. Signs say this is 70,000 volts. 2 military guards pace the surrounding catwalks. Above, Batman drops a rope, sliding down, pointing a wide-mouthed pistol, firing. Below, the canister Batman fired bursts at the feet of the first guard, releasing as a gas cloud. First guard collapses. Second guard reacts, aiming his rifle up. Still sliding down, Batman spins, aims, fires. This canister strikes second guard, knocking him down. As he tries to ride, he's overcome by gas, falls flat. Batman lands on the catwalk. He moves past a glass wall of combat suits, gleaming metal exoskeletons standing like ghost soldiers. He comes to a main control panel. Taking out a handheld bat computer, he runs his interface to a console by inserting a security card trailing wires into the console slot. He punches buttons. Above, the articulated arms set in motion, retracting, lifting the transformer rods from the water tank. Bolts of wayward electricity shoot back and forth. Batman studies the handheld computer screen, reads, Warning, Master Security reboots in 3, 259, 258. Batman synchronizes an illuminated LED on his forearm. 257, 256, 255. He climbs the rail at the tank's edge. Transformers have cleared above, buzzing. Batman takes out mini breathing apparatus and places it in his mouth before diving into the air, down into... In the water, Batman swims downwards, passing circular windows, swimming 3 stories down, cape trailing. There's a steel door built into the tank's bottom marked U.S. Government, Project Achilles Heel. Batman arrives at the door, taking what looks like 2 glow sticks from his utility belt. He snaps the plastic sticks, the chemicals inside reacts, glowing quickly bright red. The chemicals go white hot, spewing bubbles and boiling water, literally melting 2 holes into the steel door. Batman checks his LED. 110, 19, 18. As the 2 molten holes cool, Batman swims to grip the vault's handle, straining, slowly turning it. Up on the catwalk, on Batman's handheld computer screen, Master Security reboots in 20, 19, 18. In the water, Batman pulls the vault door open. He swims in, bathed in an emerald green glow, as he approaches the heavy glass cylinder containing a sizable, irregularly shaped rock that glows vibrant green from within. Kryptonite. On the catwalk, Master Security reboots in 3, 2, 1. Alarm lights flash, a klaxon sound throughout the complex. Above, the arms come alive, lowering the transformer rods. In the water, Batman swims from the vault, holding the cylinder of kryptonite. He checks the LED. 0. Then looks up to the too distant surface of the water. With no recourse, Batman changed directions, swimming towards one of the underwater windows. Above transformer rods lower, jagged fingers of energy zigzagging between them, a mere feet from their task. In the water, Batman pulls out a small suction-cupped explosive device, attaching it to the window, pushes off from the wall, trying to gain some distance. Above transformer rods are only inches from the water, in the water tank. Batman's bomb explodes, blows out the window. The shockwave buffets Batman and then pulled forward into the undertow, sucked out to the escaping torrent. Exterior factory rooftop, night. Alarms blare. A hatch in the roof opens. Batman climbs out, soaked, clutching the cylinder. As he rises, breathing hard, firing pins are heard clicking. Pull back to reveal, beneath a giant Grandma Millie's billboard, Batman's surrounded by 10 soldiers in a wide circle, all aiming automatic rifles. Batman smiles, slowly holding up the glass cylinder. Then, he throws it high, distracting the soldiers. The cylinder of kryptonite spins in the air. Batman closes his raising hand to his fist, triggering a jetpack on his back, blasting off. Soldiers recoil on the exhaust blast, opening fire. Batman catches a cylinder of kryptonite as the blazing jetpack carries him quickly skyward. In a hail of tracer bullets, Batman's arching trajectory takes him up and away, but downward towards the tree line. Exterior upstate countryside. Moments later, the Batcopter zooms past, heading back the way it came. Exterior Gotham Cemetery, afternoon. Wind sweeps the city of the dead, bare trees tremble, dervishes of leaves skip across the headstones. A single figure walks, trenchcoat open to the promise of winter in the air. Bruce Wayne stops over a fresh grave. Elizabeth Miller Wayne, beloved wife. A single white rose drops on the grave. Bruce's face is a tableau of loss.
I'm sorry.
Bruce looks up to see another figure standing behind him, windbreaker turned up, hands in pockets. Clark.
I want to be able to talk to you, tell you how sorry I am, but I'd change the past if I could.
Bruce just stares at him, impassible.
I think Luthor may be involved, but whatever Joker's doing, it's a trap.
Bruce holds his eyes. When his words come now, his tone is almost sad, oddly without rancor.
A trap? Isn't it? Of course.
Don't go. Don't let...
That's the key to a good trap. Bait you crave. Bait you have to have.
Such hunger in his eyes for revenge.
And I will happen.
The sun breaks the clouds, covering the grounded fast, dappled light, tauntingly beautiful amidst so much death.
This isn't coincidence. Attacking us both, luring you to Metropolis. We're supposed to fight. We're supposed to destroy each other.
I know.
Then stop. Don't you see?
Don't you see? Isn't that... It doesn't matter what I know, that this is a trap, that they want us to fight. Sometimes the villain's plans work. Sometimes the bad guys win.
Bruce looks at the grave.
What if it had been Lois?
Clark just stares at him. Finally,
I'd want you to stop me.
Bruce shakes his head.
He killed my wife. I can't bring her back, but I can kill him. And I think it'll come naturally.
If you start this, I have no choice. I can't look the other way.
Bruce just nods.
I know.
The anguish on Clark's face is palpable.
We were friends. Once.
A lifetime ago.
Bruce shakes his head. His voice is as soft as it is deadly.
Now you listen to me. I'm coming. Stay out of my way.
His eyes go hard.
Or I will kill you.
With that, Bruce turns and walks away. Clark watches him go. Interior Metropolis Prison Day. Luthor sits talking to his lawyer. The attorney's wet raincoat and hat are thrown over a chair.
I'd like to pose a hypothetical scenario, if you please, as a matter of legal interest.
Luthor stands, crossing to pour coffee from a paper decanter.
What if I discovered Batman's secret identity?
That seems an unlikely premise, Mr. Luthor. Batman's identity is one of the best kept...
Oh, no. he's Bruce Wayne. Say he's Bruce Wayne. Or someone like Bruce Wayne.
Luthor sits with a paper cup and saucer, sips, pinky extended.
After all, those toys are quite a substantive financial undertaking. What if, prior to my incarceration, I located a rare recording of Batman's voice, compared it to the vocal signature of Gotham's wealthiest men? Sugar?
I'm sorry?
Luthor frowns at his coffee, adds 2 cubes of sugar.
Now, say again hypothetically that the resurrection of the Joker was also my doing.
Mr. Luthor, that's impossible.
You'd be stuck with a little grave digging, DNA extraction, and $1 billion might accomplish. Hypothetically speaking.
Luthor sits back, a twinkle in his eye.
Now what if, knowing I was soon to be incommunicado, as it were, I have provided Joker with a plan. Play one hero's weakness against the others until they're literally at each other's throats.
Why? To what purpose?
Why? To finally rid the world of that alien, of course. The Joker murders Batman's wife. Batman vanquishes Superman. The Joker even gets to kill Batman as a reward.
Luthor stands, going to his empty remaining coffee.
My question is, hypothetically, would I be culpable legally?
It takes the lawyer a moment to answer.
I would think so, in several different ways.
Luthor sighs deeply.
An almost perfect plan, then.
Luthor turns back to face him.
I know Toy won't share this little flight of fancy with anyone.
Of course not. Good attorney, client, privilege, that thing.
Luthor takes a step forward.
No. That's not really why.
Smiles that perfect, chilling smile. Interior Metropolis prison day. One of the 2 guards is completing the unlocking sequence, the other standing sentry behind him, hand on his gun.
That's 10, Perry Mason. Holy.
In the cell, the lawyer is on his knees, Luthor's bald form standing over him, hands around the lawyer's throat. Both guards rush in, slamming fast into Luthor, throwing him up against the cell wall.
What the hell?
Sees what he sees. The figure they have pressed against the wall isn't Luthor at all. It's the lawyers, in Luthor's prison overalls, head hastily shaved clean, held upright by his necktie hung from the wall sconce, and quite dead. Reverse angle, the kneeling figure in the lawyer's coat and hat is rising from behind them. Lex.
Gentlemen?
His hands move with lightning speed and precision to the backs of their necks, long fingernails piercing soft flesh at the base of the skull.
A rather pedestrian question over which you have doubtlessly mused away countless hours. Indulge me.
Luthor jams his nails higher into their flesh.
Is free will a function of spirit or biology? Nature or nurture, as it were?
The 2 guards are suddenly immobile, eyes helpless.
The brainstem, when precisely lacerated, offers a rather enlightening result.
Luthor withdraws his nails, wipes them on one of the guard's lapels, 2 red marks, like a kiss of lipstick.
Turn.
The guards turn to face him, robotic.
There now. Gone is any tiresome independence, but fear not. Relieved of your puny destinies, I will imbue you with mine.
Luthor takes the lawyer's glasses from the floor, glances up at the hanging corpse, put his fingers to his lips.
Attorney-client privilege.
Luthor dons the lawyer's glasses, pulls the raincoat tight, and looks at the guards.
Now, boys, escort me out. We have much to do.
The 2 guards obey, leading the lawyer from the cell, Luthor shutting the steel door to darkness. Exterior Metropolis reestablishes night. Metropolis waits beneath dark, storm-threatening skies. Exterior Metropolis skyscrapers, aerial views, night. Looking down, Midtown is dark, streets are empty, quiet. Moving past brightly lit residential skyscrapers, citizens are silhouetted in windows, looking out, watching, waiting. Another angle shows one building's electronic billboard. 10:13, 3:05 a.m., and then chance of more rain. Another angle, streets are barricaded. Police cars sit at the center of an intersection, lights spinning silently. Another angle, an MPD patrol car cruises, spotlights searching empty sidewalks, roof-mounted speakers playing.
Thank you for your cooperation. Metropolis is under citywide curfew. For your own safety, please remain indoors. Violators will be detained. Thank you for your cooperation.
Down a side street, two motorcycle officers converge with flashlights upon violators in a stopped car. On the side street, two cops, hands on guns, face the motorist as he climbs out of his car.
My wife had this craving.
But the motorist's voice trailed up now, past the cops, into the sky, his face growing pale.
Oh, man.
Several shots, from women, kids, young couples, to Perry White in his office, all staring skyward, follow his gaze. In the sky, dark storm clouds over the city are beginning to glow, seeming to roil in the sudden white light, now taking form. The bat signal shines on the clouds over central metropolis. On the streets, find one man, alone, striding down the empty avenue. Clark Kent. He looks up at the shining signal. Down a dark alleyway, Clark turns into this alley, pulling off his tie, unbuttoning his shirt, still walking on as he pulls his shirt open to reveal his costume beneath. Exterior Metropolis Central Park, night. A homeless guy scavenges a trash can for late-night victuals. Over. A low, deep rumble. Homeless guy looks up to the sky. At first, it seems a silhouetted bat is pulling itself free from the second moon of the signal. Then an identical shape bursts through the bat signal, hurtling toward us. The bat plane, a sleek one-man fighter, sweeps down from the sky towards the giant meadows of the Central Park. Homeless guy bolts into the trees as the plane dives straight for the ground, arcing impossibly at the last second, belly hatch opening to produce a single figure in the free fall who lands standing, cape whipping in the wind. Batman looks across the empty meadow. There, in the center of the field, a familiar spotlight points towards the clouds. Batman walks to the batlight, stands over the glowing signal, face inhuman in the intense halogen glow.
Invitation accepted.
Batman shuts off the light.
I suppose I have you to thank for the lack of interference.
Batman turned towards a figure stepping down from the dark edge of the tree line, standing between Batman and the monument.
I don't want anyone to get hurt.
Superman steps forward, costume almost black in the night.
I told him I'd stop you.
No.
Simple as that.
I don't know where he is, but I'm going to bring him in, unharmed.
I'll say this once and only once. Walk away.
I can't let you lose yourself to the very dark you've spent your life fighting.
Don't you get it yet?
Batman's eyes narrow.
I am the darkness.
Batman whips open his cape, arms extended wide, fierce and deadly form, so much the stuff of nightmares.
I'm Batman.
See articulated bat armor that gleams darkly across his arms, legs, torso, and cowl in an unmistakable greenish hue. Superman furrows his brow.
Kryptonite. Forged in the metal of this armor, diluted, non-lethal, but rest assured, come within 5 feet of me, you'll realize it's a whole new ballgame.
Batman starts walking towards Superman.
I gave you fair warning. Now stay out of my way or I will hurt you.
Superman rises and starts toward him.
Oh. I'm afraid you're the one who's going to get hurt.
Superman's eyes glow red. The torso of Batman's armor begins to glow. Batman looks down at his armor, heats up. Batman's armor grows hotter, the glow widening. He grimaces, sweating, clutching at the armor.
Surrender now.
Batman pitches forward in obvious pain. Over, a sound issues from above, familiar, demonic laughter. Batman looks towards the source of the sound, towering over the park, the site where this all began. Freedom Monument. Superman lunges upward towards the building. Batman presses a button on his forearm controls. The hovering Batplane, its panels opening, fires a cluster of Sidewinder rockets. Superman spids mid-air as the Sidewinder missiles converge with screaming speed. On the ground, Batman gasps, freed from Superman's heat vision. In the air, Superman darts higher, beset from all sides. Dodging, the several missiles shrill past, but one missile strikes Superman from behind, the explosion knocking him forward. Another missile finds its mark. The errant missile swarm buffeting Superman back and forth. Boom, boom, boom. One explodes dead center. On the ground, Superman lands, falling to one knee, momentarily shaken. His whole body smolders. As he stands, Batman's on him from behind, bear-hugging, pinning Superman's arms to his side. Superman struggles, trying to break free, but not much to his surprise and horror, he cannot.
That's right. Feel the kryptonite draining your strength.
No.
Poisoning you.
Superman sucks air queasily, strongly affected by the kryptonite armor, but he keeps struggling, in vain.
It's almost like you're one of us. Almost like you could feel what we feel.
Batman releases, swinging his fists left and right, delivering double kidney punches.
This is pain.
Superman falls to his hands and knees.
Get used to it.
Batman's on Superman, slugging, but Superman's up, catching Batman's arm, throwing him. Superman steps back, trying to shake the effects of the kryptonite. A rumble is heard, getting closer.
Don't want to fight you.
Don't worry about me.
Batman takes an object from his utility belt.
Worry about you.
He puts the object on his lips, blowing. It's a sonic whistle, giving off a high-pitched bat-like screech. Superman reacts, forcing his hands over his ears.
Thought that might work.
Batman blows a whistle again, running to dive clear as from behind with the agonized Superman, the Batplane is coming low to the ground. Superman turns just as the Batplane slams him, sends Superman sailing a great distance, tumbling across the lawn. As the Batplane autopilots away, its front end demolished, Batman strides toward the now recovering Superman.
The other part we are, the stronger I am.
Getting to his feet.
So if I can keep my distance, you'll keep yours.
Batman's closing, but Superman inhales deeply and exhales, as only Superman can, with hurricane force. Batman's pushed back in the gale, blown backwards, thrown high into the air, flailing. Across the park, Batman smashes through the treetops. Not far away, in the circular clearing dominated by large, multi-tiered, statuary-adorned fountain, Batman falls from the treetops in a shower of broken tree limbs, crashing to the ground. On the great lawn, Superman takes flight, soaring after. In the fountain clearing, Superman descends, touching down near the flowing fountain. He turns quickly, looking all directions. Other than the scattered branches, there's no sign of Batman.
Quit now, Batman. Please.
Above, we see Batman perched high amongst the fountain statuary like an armored beast poised. He jumps. Batman smashes down on Superman, knocking him to the ground. Batman rolls to his feet, moving in before Superman can recover, delivers a gut kick. Superman doubles over. Batman slugs Superman in the jaw, knocking him to his knees. Batman winds up to strike again. Superman manages to clock the next punch, swings. Batman ducks. He jabs twice to Superman's ribs, winds up, punches Superman full in the face. Superman staggers back against the fountain's edge. He's shaken, touching his bloodied face, looking down in frightened realization at the blood on his hand.
What, you've never seen your own blood before? There's plenty more where that came from.
Batman charges, tackles Superman, splashing into the fountain. Beneath a torrent of cascading water, Batman stands over Superman, armors creaking as he rains down blow after blow. Batman gets his hands around Superman's neck, forcing Superman's face underwater, holding him there. Superman holds his breath, gasping at Batman's fingers, trying to break their grip, but it's just not happening.
Give up. Give up and I'll take you at your word.
Superman strains, eyes widening, running out of air.
Let me pass, and I'll let you go.
Superman summons strength. By sheer brute force, he's prying Batman's hands from his neck, crying out in an exhalation of bubbles. Superman shifts his weight, flips Batman off. Superman scrambles out from the fountain, choking, holding his throat. He falls, gets to his feet, gasping.
No. No.
Batman rises from the water, looking as Superman moves unsteadily away, leaping to fly. In one swift motion, Batman pulls his grappling gun and fires, the wire trailing. The mini grappling hook circles around Superman's ankles. Batman's yanked skyward. Exterior over Metropolis, night. We follow as Superman ascends to dizzying heights above Metropolis, trying to clear his head. It's questionable if he even realizes Batman's trailing on the grappling wire. Batman glances down at the cityscape swirling below, swallowing fear, looking up to the task at hand. Batman grips the wire in one hand, pulling himself up so he can bring the G-gun down, locking it to his utility belt. Now he reels himself in. Batman catches up to Superman, grasping Superman's cape from behind, climbing. Superman spins, trying to look back as Batman circles his forearm around Superman's throat, getting him in a chokehold. Superman shoots downward, spinning wildly, trying to shake free. Batman's hanging on for dear life, unrelenting. Follow as Superman grips Batman's forearm, overwhelmed but enervating effects of the armor's radiation.
Will kill us both.
Superman's starting to black out, his eyes rolling. Superman's lost control. They're plummeting, zooming between skyscrapers way too close for comfort, spiraling down, wind screaming off their bodies, capes flapping like broken kites. We follow as Superman staves off unconsciousness with a gasp, suddenly halting and pitching forward, throwing Batman over. Batman falls alone, too far and too fast to save. Above, Superman's mortified at what he's done.
Oh, Lord.
He dives down, flying to catch up with Batman, reaching out, reaching desperately for Batman's cape. Superman grips a handful of Batman's cape, straining as he reverses direction, teeth bared, stopping their descent. Batman grabs a handful of his own cape and pulls, swinging his feet upwards, kicks Superman in the chest. Batman plummets toward the distant street, again falling too far and too fast for anything to be done. Batman thrusts out his arms, fires his G-gun. The grappling hook skitters across the rooftop of one building, finding purchase. The wire pulls tight. In the air, Batman cries out as his arm is nearly yanked out of its socket, but somehow he hangs on. Good news. Batman's not falling straight down anymore. Bad news. He's swinging at a sweeping angle, heading straight for the building's glass facade. Interior building, business offices, night. Batman smashes through the shattering plate glass windows, traveling headlong through the office space, destroying desks, file cabinets, and cubicles in his path. Above the city, Superman flies to the buildings where Batman impacted. In the offices, Superman enters through the broken windows. He surveys the ruin Batman wrought.
You underestimated me, Clark.
Batman stalks through the shadows, takes cover. Superman's eyes go blue. Superman's point of view, X-ray vision. We see through the remaining walls, desks, and cubicles. But just as we discover Batman, seen as a skeletal X-ray figure within a hazy outline of his bat armor.
Big mistake.
He's moving from his hiding place, throwing something. In the offices before Superman's glowing eyes, a batarang embeds in the support column. It explodes, a flash bat bomb diving off an explosion of white light. Superman's blinded, covering his face, crying out. Batman rushes from the darkness, leaping to kick. Superman tries to defend himself, fighting blind. Batman spins, landing a 2-foot kick in the base of Superman's spine. Superman's felled to his knees. Batman steps up, and with one last vicious punt to Superman's bloodied, sweat-soaked face, sends Superman hurtling backwards out the broken window. Exterior Midtown Street, night. Superman falls, gone limp. He impacts the pavement, crashing straight through the street in an explosive shower of flying asphalt. Above, Batman leaps, G-gun strapped to his belt, wire unspooling behind his body horizontal to the ground as he sprints down the side of the building. On the street, smoke wafts from the hole in the pavement. Batman arrives looking in. Broken pipes gush, severed wires spark. Beyond that, It's darkness. Batman turns, walking away. Behind him, after a long moment, Superman's hand emerges from the hole, gripping the edge. Superman pulls himself up, climbing to the street. He stands. Costume is burnt and torn. He's bloody, brutalized, angry.
Is that all you've got?
His words echo. Batman stops in his tracks. He lets out a deep sigh. Slowly, he turns, looking back to Superman.
No proverbial tricks. Proverbial sleeve.
Batman touches a forearm button. As he holds his hand out and balls them into fists, bolts of electricity zip between the fingers of his armored gloves. Superman and Batman stride toward each other. Batman runs, takes the first swing. Superman leaps, flying above, to kick Batman across his helmeted head. Superman lands, but Batman's right back at him, gloves buzzing as he punches Superman, each powerful blow delivering a heavy, spark-spewing shock. Batman swats Superman sideways, knees him in the stomach. Superman's faltering again, until Batman throws a fist. Superman grips Batman's wrist. Batman brings his other fist across, but Superman catches it, ignoring the excruciating pain as electricity shoots down his arm. Superman forces Batman's hands together. Bzzz! The powerful jolt sends Batman clattering to the pavement, his armor smoking, shorted out. Superman comes and actually lifts Batman above his head. Pretty impressive, until the kryptonite again saps Superman's strength so he can barely manage a weak-kneed throw. Effective enough, though, as Batman slams a parked car. Windows fragmenting, airbags blowing. As Batman recovers, it's Superman's turn to step up and use Batman as a punching bag, fist bombing, venting fury and frustration, actually beginning to dent Batman's armor. Batman crumples. Superman backpedals, wary, looking down. His knuckles are split, bleeding. Superman turns, looking for something. He crosses to the curb. He tears up a tall no parking sign from the ground. Batman gets to his feet, hurting. Superman comes to swing the traffic sign, bludgeons Batman. Batman falls.
Lay down.
Batman rolls slowly, getting up, standing. Superman strikes again. Clink! Batman falls.
I said, stay down.
Batman lies immobile for the longest moment until, somehow, he again begins to struggle to his feet. Superman backs away, keeping a hold of the sign. He expels a powerful gust of air, this time focusing it narrowly so it quickly turns visible into the air, an icy cloud. Batman's engulfed in the icy breath, his armor immediately frosting up. As Superman keeps blowing the cold blast, Batman shields his face, movements restricted as his joints of his armor freeze, the creaking strain of metal as his armor grows brittle. Then Superman rises off the ground, flying forward, swings the traffic sign, slamming Batman. Batman sent toppling through the air, head over heels. He hits the street, tumbling violently, fragments of shattered kryptonite armor flying off. Down the street, Batman finally comes to a rest, lays there, armor broken, pieces missing. His helmet is cracked, but intact. Up the street, Superman drops the sign, spent, forlorn, looks down at his trembling hands. Looking up, he flies into the night sky. Exterior the stratosphere, night. Follow as Superman bursts through the nighttime clouds, flying higher into the realm between night and day, where the gentle curve of the Earth's horizon, the setting sun still resides. Superman hovers, arms bent as the sun's ray strikes him. This is what he sought. He basks in the sun's radiant glow, soaking it in, letting it renew him. On the Midtown street, Batman stirs. Slowly, he gets to his knees, manages to lift his head. He stands, in obvious pain. Batman walks to a large moving truck parked at the curb. He starts to climb up the driver's side. It's slow going, but he climbs atop the high roof of the truck's trailer. With one hand, Batman reaches beneath his cape, extracting a folded device. With a flick of his wrist, he unfurls the device, metallic segments rapidly snapping into place, one after another, until it's revealed that it's a long archer's bow. Batman drops his right arm, throwing off his glove. With his bare right hand, he removes a length of wire from his belt. He bends the bow tight, adding the wire. In the stratosphere, Superman inhales deeply, grateful for the sun's energy. He turns to look down to the night awaiting his return. He flies back towards the storm clouds below. On the Midtown street, with the bow slung over his shoulder, Batman bends to open a narrow compartment along the side of his boot. He removes 2 precision-tooled shafts forged in green metal. He screws them together, forming a single kryptonite arrow.
You brought this on yourself.
Batman readies the arrow on his bow. Holding them together in his still armored left hand, he looks skyward. Above from the clouds, Superman descends, soaring down within the canyon of buildings, searching the urban battlefield. Superman slows his flight, reacting with uncertainty to the sight of Batman standing atop a truck far below. Below, Batman pulls a batarang from his cape, throws. The batarang flies at the wide arc, issuing a shrill, high-pitched whistle. Above, Superman stops mid-descent, covering his ears in pain. Below, Batman aims the bow, pulling back the kryptonite arrow.
Be true.
He fires the arrow. Above, Superman is still jarred by the whistle of the batarang when the K arrow arrives. Thunk! Piercing Superman's shoulder just below the collarbone. Superman reels, shaken to his very core, gripping the arrow and letting out the unbelievable cry. As Superman's shout resounds, hundreds of windows and surrounding buildings shatter, simultaneously imploding. Superman drops from the sky, impacting the sidewalk this final time, concrete cracking. Batman drops weakly from the truck, trudges towards Superman, drops the bow. From somewhere above, the city's church bell begins tolling the hour. Midnight. Superman's overcome by kryptonite poisoning. In excruciating pain, his flesh going pallid and gray. The bell continues tolling. Batman comes to stand over Superman. It's as if Superman's aging before our eyes. His features sunken, skin wrinkled. He tries to pull out the toxic arrow, fingers finding purchase on the feathered hilt.
I had no choice.
Batman reaches down, grabs the hilt, and snaps it off. The arrow now embedded in Superman's chest. No way for him to pull it free. Superman's eyes look up to Batman, afraid, pleading. Batman stares out at him, almost sad. Superman's hand slips off the wound to his chest, skin going white and lifeless. Batman turns and walks away. Exterior Freedom Monument, night, extreme high angle. As the distant bell tolls, tilt down to see a tiny, beaten figure standing at the tower's base. Batman. Exterior Metropolis Street, night. Over, the bell tolls. Superman, with a Herculean effort, rolls over, pulls himself to one knee, looks toward the monument. Exterior Freedom Monument, night, extreme high angle. Batman stares at the monument. The glass elevators inside are crushed and tangled, fenced off by police tape and yellow warning lights. No way up.
Bruce, welcome. Welcome to this woeful tale's final chapter.
Batman looks around. Joker's voice seems to come from everywhere.
Don't worry. No one else can hear. I've hacked into your cowl's mic, so we can be intimate.
Batman stares toward the frame of the shattered rooftop dome, glinting in the moonlight overhead. He reaches to his belt.
You know I'm always here, the voice in your mind. Don't play coy.
Belt close. Batman activates a small touchscreen, toggles to a frame graphic, keys a setting to a flashing full burn.
Our unspoken pact. The implicit understanding we had that we would always be there for each other.
Batman's jetpack flares explosively, begins shooting him up, endlessly, past stories of windows whizzing past.
Because who else do we have, you and I, but each other? Truly.
Wide shot as a time-capped figure continues to rocket vertically up the sheer wall of towering glass and metal.
I tried to kill you, you tried to kill me. That's our purpose, our raison d'etre. That's who we are.
Batman, point of view. Rising past still more windows, the metal domes lattice above in the distance. Over, a beeping. Batman looks down. His belt icon is flashing. Low fuel.
I didn't even let death do us part. But you, I turn my back for 2 minutes and you hang up the cape. Did you stop for one moment to think about how that would make me feel?
Batman is still yards from the top, one hand reaching up past still moving windows, willing himself to make it to the roof as his jetpack begins to sputter.
Batman does not retire. No, Batman dies at my hand. Our tragic tale ends with the happiest of happy endings. One more death. Yours.
As his jetpack fails, Batman hits a button on his utility belt, metal body armor and jetpack disengaging, falling impossibly far below as Batman grips the edge of the roof. Exterior Freedom Monument roof, night. Batman pulls himself up onto the moonlit roof, now adorned in his lithe night black classic batsuit.
Tonight, in this giant stage above the city, Joker kills the Batman. Under the eyes of man, God.
Pull back to reveal. Batman stands on the edge of a circular observation deck the size of a football field, edged with teeth and jarred glass. Beyond, the city spreads out so far below that we can see the curve of the earth.
And can I tell you a secret? You won't fight back.
Overhead, all that remains of the regal glass-domed roof is its giant metal frame, girders bent, staircase spiraling along its inside, now twisted and broken.
You will fall to your knees and show me your throat.
Directly across the giant deck, a figure steps from the shadows of a girder, small at this distance.
And when I come to take your life, you'll welcome me.
Wide on this windswept aerial plane, barren save for the two men facing each other across the firmament. Exterior Freedom Monument, night. Close on Superman, face straining as we pull back to see he's begun climbing the side of the monument, hand over hand. A fragment of rubble breaks free, Superman losing his grip for a second as we fall past him with the rubble endlessly. Above us, Superman rights himself, looks down at the falling debris, his costume form tiny, so terribly high up. Close on Superman, blood trickling from his nose as he looks back up to the roof, as high above the ground as he is below.
Up, and away.
Superman resumed his agonized, painful climb. Exterior Freedom Monument, observation deck, continuous. Batman starts walking toward the Joker. Joker starts walking toward Batman. Two men with a single, deadly purpose.
You know I had to kill her, don't you? Your beautiful wife. You left me absolutely no choice. How else could I bring you back to me?
Between them, a form can now be seen, the hilt of a giant axe sticking up like a flagpole in the center of the deck.
After all, that's what Bruce Wayne does in the face of personal tragedy. Gets all dressed up like a bat and starts looking for someone to butcher. No, killing the woman you love was the easy part.
Both men keep coming. Moonlight through the fast clouds hits Joker's face, making him visible for the first time.
Creating her. Now that was much, much harder.
Batman glances up, thrown a beat by Joker's words. The Joker closes from the other side, a new spring in his step.
You see, I had to find just the right girl. Bright and hungry and unburdened by morality. Once I knew your true identity, it was easy to mold her into something you'd love.
Batman keeps coming, determined to ignore him.
One part beautiful, two parts smart, a pinch of mother you'd lost, a dab of child you'd never be. Come on, Brucey. Didn't you think she was a little too perfect?
This ruse is pathetic.
Oh, be honest. Weren't there things you noticed? Little things.
Batman won't listen, he and Joker closing on each other, the Axe hilt stands between them, light hitting the blade.
How do you think I knew where you were going to be on your honeymoon?
Quick flash. Elizabeth on her cell, furtive expression now lightening as she turns to face Bruce, waiting by the car.
More lies.
Batman shakes off the image, keeps walking, legs screaming in pain, face set. Joker grins in the moonlight.
Who do you think she was talking to on the beach?
Quick flash. Elizabeth runs to Bruce, standing in the sea. See the waiter turning away. Joker, garish face, grinning.
Shut up!
He's heading for the Joker, but you can see it in his eyes. Doubt.
You get it? She was never yours. Always mine.
Joker smiles, and now, what horror, from his mouth comes a sickly, sweet imitation of Elizabeth's voice.
I made you something.
Quick flash. Elizabeth in the honeymoon suite. Her mouth moves over familiar words, but we hear Joker's voice.
For when everything seems like it's the worst, to show you just how much I love you. It's a surprise.
Batman stops, unable to move. Stares at the Joker. Fear.
None of this is true.
Oh, really? Look at your ring.
Batman close, wanting to ignore him, instead pressing a shaking cuff stud. His sleeve retracting, slips off his ring.
Surprise.
Batman turns his wedding band over in his hand. The inside is ringed with tiny engravings. All of Joker's face.
No.
And they call you a detective.
Batman close, the horror of the truth sinking in, shattering him from the inside out, muscles growing weak with terror.
She worked for me all along. She knew everything. Of course that I was going to kill her. It can be a sap to morale.
Joker smiles, a horrible, satisfied smile.
It was all a ruse, don't you see? She never loved you.
And with that, the Joker grabs the axe, flips it, and hilt slams Batman in the gut, knocking him to his knees.
Your happiness, it was all a wonderful practical joke.
Follow the ring as it falls out of his hand.
What? No fight left?
Joker raises the axe over Batman's head. Batman looks up.
That's what I thought.
Batman close, eyes broken, finally defeated.
You know, it almost makes me sad to say.
Joker kicks Batman in the face, knocking him backwards.
Goodbye.
That's when the chunk of granite slams into Joker's gut, literally folding him as he flies all the way to the edge. Emergency exit doors slam open to reveal Superman. But he's in terrible shape, still bloodied, ghostly pale, and utterly drained from the climb, the kryptonite poisoning.
What's wrong, Superman? Oh, you don't look so Superman.
Joker lifts 2 fingers, whistles. From the structure above, forms drop, land standing. Their bodies are chemically accelerated, their lips sewn shut. But they are familiar, the 2 guards from the prison. Call them by their new names, Jeeves 3 and 4. They race towards Superman.
Batman.
Batman isn't moving. Joker starts to advance on the fallen Caped Crusader, mouth twisting in an angry snarl.
Don't worry. Joker's gonna make the pain go away. Very, very soon.
Superman throws a mighty punch at 3. The creature uses its enhanced reflexes to handspring away while 4 flips over Superman's head, punches him in the back of the neck. Batman simply kneels in place, eyes cast down, shattered. Jeeves 3, still standing on his hands, kicks Superman in the gut with both feet. Jeeves 4 lifts a chunk of concrete and smashes Superman in the face. Superman goes down. Joker is striding toward Batman. He reaches down, lifts the axe where it fell, flipping so the blade is held high. Batman remains on his knees, broken, unmoving. The Jeeveses simultaneously kick Superman rolling, and then again so he falls over the edge, the hero grabbing onto the ledge. He hangs above the lights of the city below. The Joker stops over Batman. See the madness and bloodlust in his eyes, a nightmare made flesh. He raises his battle axe.
Bruce!
Batman looks up. The Joker swings his blade. Jeeves 3 stomps Superman's hand as 4 hauls off and gives Superman one final kick in the face.
Clark?
The axe hilt is caught, mid-swing, by a gloved hand. Superman falls away from camera, hand extended, receding toward the distant city below. A gloved hand grabs Superman's hand. Batman's got him. But who's got Batman? Both heroes fall past camera.
I take it you can't fly?
The two are dropping towards the city through the roaring wind.
Kryptonite poisoning.
The city is rising below. Batman whips a gun from his belt, firing a batarang in the air to the far side of the monument roof.
Hang on.
Wide as Batman takes the weight of the swing, arcing them with dizzying velocity back up towards exterior observation deck continuous. The two heroes land standing on the giant observation deck.
Company.
Jeeves and Jeeves race toward them as one side as Joker runs, battle axe held high from the other. Batman and Superman move to face their opponents, backs actually bumping as they come spine to spine.
You okay?
Hardly.
Joker screams, swinging his axe with amazing speed and dexterity. Batman ducks one swing, leaps over the next. Jeeves attacks Superman with blazing fury. Superman blocks their swings, matching their impossible speed. Batman punches the Joker. Joker scissor kicks Batman, coming around with his axe swing. Batman blocks with his forearm. Superman continues fending off punches, managing to land several of them in his own seemingly impervious monsters. Wide on the battle. Superman and Batman, back to back, fighting attackers with inhuman speed and force. Batman dodges another volley of the Joker's swings, managing to front kick the battle axe into the air.
Incoming.
On it.
Superman grabs the twirling axe, snaps the hilt into two, tossing a cudgel back to Batman and keeping one himself. Angle on the battle and increasing speed, intensity, a lethal ballad of violence. Batman and Superman blew into one creature as with 4 arms, the world's finest heroes.
Enough.
Of
this
shit!
Both Superman and Batman throw simultaneous, mighty punches, sending their respective assailants hitting the deck.
You get yours.
The Jeeves are already rising like angry beasts.
I'll get mine.
The Joker scrambles standing. Batman moves toward him.
Not so fast, darling.
And the Joker jumps upward with dizzying height, hanging now from one of the metal lattice struts above.
He who turns and run away, well, you know that one.
Joker flips onto the scaffolding and starts scaling the metal lattice toward the top of the dome like an awful insect.
No.
Batman grabs the lower strut, closer to the base of the skeletal dome, starts scaling the beams, chasing the Joker. On the deck, Superman has reached the two Jeeves, both now standing. They attack, hands and feet flying. Inside the dome, Batman leaps from one lattice to a higher one inside the dome, climbing with incredible dexterity after Joker. On the deck, the Jeeveses jump onto their hands using a capoeira fighting style, feet sending Superman flying into a girder on the side of the dome. Inside the dome low angle, Batman trails Joker high overhead, like 2 insects scrambling toward a hatch on top of the dome. On the deck, the Jeeves race on their hands towards Superman like horrible, impossible insects. Inside the dome, the Joker pulls the hatch. He scrambles up and out. On the deck, the Jeeves attack. Superman has almost no power left, tries in vain to block the Jeeves' lightning-fast, powerful blows. Superman slow-mo, taking hit after hit, spit and blood flying, almost done for. Then Superman does something odd. He stops fighting, drops to his knees, and closes his eyes. The Jeeves are killing him, but he doesn't fight back. Still kneeling, eyes shut, breath held in impossible concentration. The Jeeves flip back to their feet, hands open before them, coiled to spring their final death blows. Superman opens his eyes, pupils flashing red in final effort. The metal floor beneath the Jeeves opening, melted. The monsters fall through just as Superman exhales a desperate breath of freezing air, cooling the metal. The Jeeves' flail, arms above the recooled metal floor, legs dangling below, trapped. Inside the dome, Batman pulls the hatch to the top, and the inside of the dome climbs out into the lightning sky. Exterior dome roof, service platform, dawn. A 10 by 10 metal square atop the dome, like a cut-off pyramid, literally the tip of the world. The winds are gale force, high as an airplane. Joker is on the edge of the platform, strapping into a metal harness. He turns over his shoulder at Batman, now closing.
You have to admit, I had the last laugh.
With that, Joker hits a stud and clown-faced glider extends from the harness, canvas catching in the wind.
No.
He reaches to his belt with impossible speed, one hand whipping a cluster of tiny batarangs that perforate the Joker's glider, the other hurling a grapple into Joker's chest. With a mighty two-handed jerk to the tether, Batman pulls Joker sprawling onto his back, sliding across the platform and over the opposing edge, stopped only by Batman's foot, comes down on Joker's throat, pinning him to the platform, head hanging over the edge to a terrible drop below. Batman looks down, hatred burning in his eyes. He slowly presses the heavy sole of his boot against Joker's throat. Batman grimaces, pressing his foot down harder, closing Joker's airway. Joker's eyes plead.
Go ahead.
Superman has come up on the platform behind Batman, broken, bloody. No fight left. He stands, unmoving.
This is you. Everyone tried to tell me. People have a right to choose.
Batman keeps his foot to Joker's white throat, looking up.
So be my guest. But do me one favor before you do. Before you kill him, take off the mask.
Batman looks down at Joker.
Don't hide behind it. Don't pretend there's some other part of you doing this. This is your right as a human being, your retribution. So do this as the man who's going to live with it for the rest of his life. Take off the mask.
Batman reaches up, touches a hidden stud on his chest plate. The metal mask retracts into his suit, revealing Bruce Wayne. But Bruce is just as determined to kill Joker, pushing his heel into Joker's windpipe.
This is what you are. Why have I been wasting my time on this small, stupid world?
Bruce keeps applying pressure, watching as the unconsciousness Joker's slick mouth begins working, gasping for air.
Humans are murderers. Left to your own devices, what you do best is kill. So go on, do it. Kill him. Do what comes naturally.
Bruce closes his eyes, uncertainty growing. He just can't do it. Bruce lifts his foot. He takes a step back, head bowing in despair.
Thank you.
Bruce walks to the edge, staring down to the impossible drop in the growing light. Superman moves behind him.
Pathetic.
Both heroes turn to face the voice, Bruce's cowl clicking back in place, to find themselves face to face with Luthor.
Predictable, but pathetic nevertheless.
Luthor pulls the Joker standing, slaps him twice, the clown regaining consciousness. Luthor still looking at the hero.
I knew you'd never really be able to do it, Wayne. Kill him, I mean.
Luthor lifts something in his hand, the hilt of an arrow.
Kryptonite only in the hilt. It was yours, and you spared it. You were addled by compassion.
Luthor hurls the hilt up to the deck, the shaft piercing the metal in a promise of uncanny strength. Turns now to Joker.
I anticipated having to finish Superman, living the coup de grace. My plan was predicated on it. But you You I expected more from. I enjoy a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to failure.
And with that, Luthor simply shoves Joker off the edge of the roof, the Clown Prince falling, laughing to his demise.
Made to U.S. government specifications for one purpose: to subdue a Superman faster than the speeding bullet.
Luthor flexes his hands, suit charging up, now glowing with crackling power.
Nothing.
Lex smiles.
Now what's better?
And with that, Luthor simply is gone from where he is, appearing impossibly between both heroes, punching Batman, sending a roundhouse into Superman's head.
But once.
Scene moves in Luthor time. Lex moves at normal speed around in front of Batman. The world as both heroes are almost static, moving in hyper slow motion. Lex punches Batman.
Or one.
He moves next to a barely turning Superman, punches him hard in the face.
At a time.
Back to real time. Lex is gone again, now standing on the opposite side of the roof as Superman recoils from the blow. Superman and Batman go back to back. Lex smiles.
How quaint.
No matter where they turn in the small space, Luthor is before them, striking, then gone before their blows can land. Series of shots Luthor time. Superman takes a punch to the face. Batman takes a kick to the head. Superman an elbow to the gut. Batman a crippling kick to the ribs. Exterior roof, high angle, normal time. Lex seems to appear and disappear at will, so great is his speed, appearing before them, striking, vanishing. Superman goes down to one knee. Lex is a blur behind him.
Bruce.
Batman, still standing, follows Superman's gaze. Overhead dawn is breaking, but the storm clouds are so thick what little sun penetrates the cover beams down in occasional shafts. The nearest sunbeam hits the bottom of the monument's east side at an angle, illuminating the bottom 30 floors.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
That's when Lex suddenly appears behind Batman. As the Caped Crusader starts to spin, we go to Luthor time. Batman turns incrementally towards Lex as the villain rips free the metal guardrail, bends it in both hands. Luthor shoves Batman. Real time. Batman hits the deck fast and hard. Superman climbing up on one knee as Lex jumps on Batman. Luthor time. Batman barely starts to rise, Superman coming off the ground as Lex skewers both ends of the torn-off rail deep into the metal deck, trapping Batman underneath.
Your dessert. Dinner.
Lex stands, staring down at the slowly rising Superman. He hauls off in real time. Lex kicks Superman hard in the chin, the hero literally flying backwards and over the edge of the roof. Superman falls in a backwards tumble down the sloping metal surface, slides, fingers gaining purchase, slipping down the sloping roof wing, and finally hanging off the edge. A flipping blur, and Lex stands on the roof wing above Superman's clutching hands, kicks Superman in the face. Batman is still pinned to the deck, trying to inch his fingers of his trapped hand toward his belt. Lex time. Lex is hauling off and kicking Superman repeatedly, Superman's head flying back again and again. Real time. Lex's foot is a literal blur, impossible to see. Only its effects on Superman's whipping head are visible. Batman is still inching his fingers towards his belt. Lex keeps kicking. One of Superman's hands comes free, Superman dangling over the tiny city by one hand. Batman's fingers find their target, pressing a hidden button. The batsuit retracts into wrist, belt, and ankle gauntlets that fall away, giving Bruce room to scramble out of the metal trap. Bruce looks toward the scattered dawn at the shaft of light hitting the bottom of the monument's east side. Turns to. Luthor rears back for one final kick.
But, hello.
Over. A scream as Bruce bounds over the roof dome, flying into Luthor, hurling them both over Superman's head and plummeting toward the city below. Superman, not even looking at the two falling figures below him, grabs the roof edge with his other hand, then summoning every ounce of remaining strength, he hoists himself up, launching maybe 20 feet into the air, flipping above the roof and diving straight down the monument's east side. Bruce and Luthor are fighting in midair. Bruce manages to rear back and plant his feet in Luthor's chest, pushing off, both now falling separately toward the distant ground. Superman is dropping toward the earth, windows rushing past, body pointed like a diver's to maximize his descent speed. Bruce watches as Lex falls away beneath him, his body armor making him the heavier object. Bruce opens his arms and legs into a skydiver's cross, marginally slowing and leveling his fall. Still, the ground is coming up fast. Superman plunges through the first rays of streaming sun, whipping past floor after sunlit floor. Seeing the effect the solar radiation has on him, muscles growing, strength returning, becoming far more than a man, the ground rushes towards us as Superman whips up and away. Wide on the monument, Superman rockets around the building like a missile. Lex looks up to see Bruce falling maybe 10 yards above, looks down to the ground to see the ground leaping towards him. Bruce watches as Lex hits, eco-suit exploding into the pavement, shooting a fireball up towards Bruce's now bicycling legs when a red and blue figure whips through the frame, taking Bruce's back upward toward the building.
Close enough for you?
Complain.
The two figures rocket towards the roof as, below, police cruisers head towards the monument. Exterior Freedom Monument dawn minutes later. Police cruisers crowd the street. As cops walk the jeeves shackled in bent metal towards the paddy wagons, Superman stands over a crater. The suit is there, but empty. No sign of him. Luthor, I mean. Superman turns to face a single approaching figure, trench coat flapping in the morning winds.
You're a long way from home, Commissioner.
Barbara Gordon nods, glances toward a body bag being loaded. Joker is my jurisdiction.
That why you came all this way?
No, not really. Superman just nods. How is he? Superman holds her gaze. Two people who know too much, neither sure how much they can say. Finally.
He'll heal.
Superman allows himself a smile, half wonder, half sorrow.
It's what you humans do.
Now it's Barbara's turn to nod. She looks up at the distant figure, tiny in the breaking light. Tell him. So much to say. All she can manage is, tell him I'm sorry. Superman holds her eyes a beat, and then he's gone. Barbara looks at the sky, turns back to the circus of her world. Okay, people, we got our bad guys. Let's move out. Exterior Freedom Monument, observation field, dawn. Batman, suited once more, stoic, stands on the edge of the deck, staring down at the departing lights of the squad cars, the straining motion of the city slowly coming back to life. He opens his hand. A single gold ring falls, growing small, then gone from sight. He turns to face Superman.
People don't just vanish.
Are you sure?
Superman opens his mouth to speak, closes it again.
Evil always finds a way. Evil survives.
Maybe that's why we're here.
A long beat. Then Batman just nods.
Maybe so.
Bruce appraises Clark. No few cuts and bruises.
You look like crap, by the way.
You should see the other guy.
Batman almost smiles.
Clark.
Yeah.
Then Clark extends his hands, and Bruce takes it. Their handshake is strong and lasting, a friendship renewed.
So you want to get a beer?
They start away across the platform towards the light.
Maybe a soda or something.
Oh my God, what is it with you?
See them now, these two heroes, away into the dawn, and gone. Final fade to black.
And that is our reading. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see you at the next one.